JPO looks forward to doing that every week at 7 o'clock or somewhere around there. Yeah. But yeah, we are live. We are back. The Lonely Marks. Here to talk some wrestling. We got a lot to talk about tonight, actually. So let's just get right into it, but not until we introduce everybody else. Got to do that first. Austin is here as always. Austin, how's it going?
Hey, we're talking some new stuff that I don't follow as much, but some old stuff that I like. So I'm happy. I'm a happy man.
Yeah, it's a nice mix of old and new.
Yeah.
Speaking of old and new, Richie's here.
Am I old or new? I don't know. Which one am I? I don't know. I'm anyway. Cool. Good to be here. I watched Great American Bash this morning. I got up early this morning and watched it. So that was cool. Yes, some good stuff. Overall some great stuff. And then in the middle there, I'm like, yeah.
Well, we'll get into it, but it starts out a little rocky, but it gets better as it goes. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
And then watching the stuff on the network or whatever the Peacock thing, it's like, okay, yeah, it's all right. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting to it, JPO is also here.
Yeah, love getting to it. Actually, I'm happy to be here. Excited to talk about some old, some new, some blue, some borrowed.
Yeah. So we'll start with the new, and AEW's got a pretty big show coming up. So does New Japan. It's kind of a joint production called Forbidden Door, which we have chose last year as our show of our pay-per-view of the year, not our show of the year, pay-per-view of the year. So we'll see if they can top it this year. But before that, they have also revealed the brackets for the Owen Hart tournament. So the men's and women's have been revealed, and I was wrong. Jungle Boy's not winning this thing because
he's not on it.
Jungle Boy, he's not even in it.
And neither is Mark Briscoe. Boo.
Yeah. I believe somebody said Ricky Starks. He's in it, so he has a chance. I believe Richie may have said.
I mean, unless you go with the heel, I think he's got the best chance to me.
Yeah, so we'll get our first match this Sunday. We'll predict that later, but CM Punk will take on Satoshi Kojima. I hope I said that right and didn't butcher it.
I think you nailed it. I feel like you nailed it.
And they will face the winner. The winner of that will face the winner of Roderick Strong and Samoa Joe. I'm looking forward to that match. Looking forward to Roderick Strong getting some more opportunities. And on the other side of the bracket, we have Dustin Rhodes because he needs this victory to jumpstart his career. Taking on Powerhouse Hobbs, who I could see, Powerhouse Hobbs could take this thing. I think he could use it. Then the bottom, continuing the rivalry, Juice Robinson and Ricky Starks. So let's just talk about this one real quick. I'll take this down so we can see each other. If you need me to pop it back up, I can.
You can't do the side by side thing.
I don't know how to do that. I'm not. I need to just take a moment, and when I have some extra time, I just play with this when we're not actually live.
We're only on episode 900. That's fine.
But I like it's just here, boom, and then boom, and we're back here. So who in your mind sticks out as the favorite as you look at the 8 guys? I mean, obviously there's one who's like, you're only in it because it's starting at Forbidden Door.
I don't think Kojima sticking around.
The other 7. Who do you think is the favorite to win this thing, JPO?
Can you put the graphic back up?
You've forgotten already.
I mean, like you said, it's a good match to put Punk over. It's his first big singles match as well that we're gonna get. Punk going over. I think Joe's gonna go over. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make this weird prediction because I think the 2 obvious names are either Hobbs or Starks. I see a face winning it more likely, although Hobbs is not a distinct thing either. But Starks hasn't won anything big, so to me, I'm gonna give it to Starks, and I'm gonna say Punk and Joe. Time limit draw. Starks and Hobbs ends up being in the finals.
Interesting. Austin, I know you don't follow, but I'm sure there's some names on there that you're familiar with.
I had to look up who Ricky Starks is and what he looks like. I know that you've been. I'm sorry. AEW has 200 people on their roster, so
You've seen him wrestle before.
This is true.
Who is who? I get Ricky Starks mixed with Dante Martin, mixed with the other guy, mixed with the other guy. So I had to remember. Same with Juice Robinson. I was like, oh, who is Juice Robinson again? Oh, okay, that guy. So I'll go with Powerhouse Hobbs because I know who that is. and I agree. Tony Khan will not resist putting Samoa Joe and CM Punk against each other because that's where I would say you'd be stupid not to use that Ring of Honor library to hype the actual match. You'd be really stupid not to do that.
Yeah,
because they have a hell of a history, and like having them, have a fourth match would be good for business. I don't know about the time limit draw thing. We'll see. But yeah, like I don't know. I'll go with Hobbs.
This would be their fifth. They actually had a match before their feud, but never mind.
In another promotion.
No, in Ring of Honor, no. People always forget they had like a match about a year before they did their 3 series.
I don't
know. I feel like they kind of teased it a little bit with that match on Collision too. I mean, Samoa Joe and CM Punk were involved, and it's like, hey, we want more. And
that's why, like, I'm almost surprised they're not at the opposite ends to make it like the finals. But then again, it makes sense because neither one of them needs it. I always try to go with the point of view of who could use it. Hobbs could because his run kind of sucked with the TNT title, but at the same time, at least he had a run. So that's why I'm giving it to Ricky. Dustin doesn't need it either. Dustin's there because they put over Hobbs. Kojima's there just because it'll be a good match and he's in town.
The TNT. I almost wanted to do a new contest and see how long Luchasaurus is.
Well, I mean, we'll get to that. I've got a theory about that title.
I think Rich's theory is the same as mine. Do you think he's just going to give it to Christian?
I think because Christian's got an announcement on Collision or whatever about the title. I think Christian's just going to say he's the champion.
Yeah, I think it's quite possible that Reign's already done.
Wow. But as far as the men's side of things, Richie, who are you thinking? What?
I was trying to work out because I think it's too early to beat Punk, but I don't think Punk's winning this thing. So I think that's time limit draw makes sense. Because then you protect Punk. So I think, Ricky Stark. But I obviously putting them together to do Punk and Joe, so that makes sense. And then I guess to get to Ricky Starks and Hobbs because that makes sense because they had a feud and they were tag partners. So that makes sense. So I could definitely see a thing where the brackets aren't what they seem, and you could see Hobbs and Ricky Starks in the finals, and then Ricky. I would say. Just feel like I don't know. I mean I know Britt Baker was a heel when she won it, but I feel like it's more of a babyface thing to win. But it was also
one by two heels. Both were
one by two heels, but they were kind of a couple, so they kind and they were when they won it, they were out of character. So I don't think it could happen, but I would say Ricky Starks wins.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning Ricky too. I don't think it's too early for CM Punk to lose. I know he just came back, but I think if it is CM Punk in the finals, that the win just means that much more. If it is Ricky Starks or if it is Powerhouse Hobbs, because I think as a heel he can run with that. As Ricky, I think it just elevates him as a babyface. I don't think it'll be a time limit draw, but if it is, I will not be surprised just to save Punk from that loss. Over on the women's side,
I was just gonna say I looked up the AEW roster. Yeah, I get Ricky Starks mixed up with Garcia, Bowens, Action Andretti, the two Martins, all kind of light-skinned dudes with short hair, high flyers. I get them all mixed up, so I had to look up who Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks is not a high flyer.
I don't care; they're all the same. So whatever.
Okay, Austin Cornette. Let's move on.
There's too many people in AEW right now. I'll stick to that.
Over on the women's side, we will also have a match that will kick off at Forbidden Door when Athena takes on Billy Starks. And on the same side, we've also got Nyla Rose and Willow Nightingale. I guess this one will kick off on Saturday, actually. So the first match will be on Collision. I take that back. Over on the other side, we've got Dr. Britt Baker taking on Ruby Soho and Anna JAS because that's such a great name. Taking on Sky
I
Blue.
always want to say Anna Gias whenever I see that.
and a Jess. I thought that was because she. I don't know. And a Jazz. I don't know. It's
So
Skype.
I'll keep this up for a moment so you guys can remember the names. I don't know why. I just made a motion and I just realized you guys can't see it. But yeah, on the women's side, Austin, who do you see?
You know these
Who
women.
are you aware of?
Who are you aware
I
of?
don't know who Billy Starks is or whatever her name.
That's
You know
understandable.
what?
That's
That's-
understandable.
That's
and
fair.
I don't know. Billy
and I don't
Starks.
know who Willow Nightingale is.
You should. Okay, she's the New Japan Strong Women's Champion.
Cool. I don't watch New Japan a lot.
You might have seen her around. She's like a.
And I don't know who the other DDS chick is, JS or whatever. AS. I don't know.
She's in the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Okay, I know who Sky Blue is because she was at that one Dynamite I went to, and then I know Ruby Soho and Britt Baker. So
and Athena, you should know.
Athena, oh yeah, Ember Moon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sky Blue could use a win, so I'll give it to Sky Blue.
You know, I'm in agreement with you. Actually, I'm going with Sky Blue as well. I think she's also like just gaining some popularity the more she's featured. So
Sorry, everybody, I'm into old shit.
No, it's all right.
New shit. What do you want me to do?
That's all right.
You know, like I stumble into wins on predictions.
I was going to say you say that, and then
guess.
you go perfect in predictions
because I just guess.
That's fine. That's cool. It's all good. I don't care. I'm just taking the business one.
Richie, I believe you may have mentioned Athena as the winner when we talked about this being announced. Somebody mentioned Athena, and I just know you're
okay.
you're a big fan, so.
But I'm not totally sure looking at that. I'd probably punt for Willow Nightingale. I think she's kind of like she's got some momentum, and I think she's I think she's sort of kind of very popular at the moment. So I would go with her, but not I could see someone like young, like Billy Starks or Sky Blue winning. But I would say kind of the overall person who's ready for that opportunity is Willow Nightingale. I feel like, not to go back to it, but I feel like that RJ City thing with the Sky Blue kind of exposed her a little bit. Just anyway, but I don't know. Not that that should matter in the long run. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I'll go Willow Nightingale. I think I could see her winning it. Yeah.
All right. JPO, have you first of all have you booked any of these women before?
Can I see the graphic again? I had the chance to book Willow because I did work with her boyfriend at the time. Might still be her boyfriend. I don't know. Couldn't afford her. No. Oh no, that's not true. Sky Blue is an RPW alumni.
Nice.
She fought Dream Girl Ellie in our Mania show a couple years back. Yeah, good, cool girl.
The second question.
No, I was gonna say as far as winner, this one is harder because nothing like Starks and Hobbs jump straight out to me. No one jumps straight out because Willow and Athena both kind of already have a push in a title. So I'm like, I don't know if you double up on that. Nyla has no chance, especially because the fact that she's facing Willow on Saturday. They're not going to job Willow out on Saturday when she's got a big match on Sunday. So Nyla's screwed. Starks maybe could get the upset, but I think she's going to job in her first major AEW match to Athena. I'm going to go with, I think Sky Blue has a real chance. She's my second pick. My first pick is actually going to be Ruby Soho because she's got kind of an interesting story of she was second last year or whatever year they did it. She lost to Britt in the finals last year. So I think that could be an interesting story of redemption, especially if she can defeat Britt now in round one. So, and I think she could use a big singles thing, so.
I just thought of something. What if they decide to go with Ricky and Billy Starks?
Yeah.
Are they dating?
I don't think so, but just the same last name and.
Oh, Starks. Okay, I hate you. Okay, I was like, what's that guy doing?
I didn't immediately clue onto that.
They made a connection last year with Britt and Adam.
I'm pretty sure Billy Starks just turned 18, so I'm like, I hope that's the
It's a pretty big age difference. I'm like, Ricky, come on.
It didn't matter when Buddy Matthews was, flirting with Dominic's sister. Um, and now Dominic is flirting with Buddy's girlfriend. So everything comes full circle in the wrestling business.
I saw a sign. I think it was on. I think it might have been Collision.
Oh, I never thought about that. That's funny, actually.
I saw a sign on Collision saying, "Hey, buddy, how does it feel that your girl's with Dom?" I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure he's only with her on TV. He doesn't go home with her. I'm pretty sure he's fine with it.
I think everyone knew that already, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that sign is stupid.
It's a joke. Just even Max Caster made the same joke.
Yeah. Anyway. What? Yeah.
You don't have sex with your mommy.
It's weird. Now it got weird. Jacob, did you freeze? Yeah, Jacob froze. Okay, that's why he has to shut this anarchy down.
I said he's giving us the look. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Whoa, is he back? Is he here?
He back?
Maybe via audio, not a visual.
Audio. You can hear.
Kind of, not really.
You're back in and out, even audio wise.
It's okay if we have to.
Just talk about Money in the Logan Paul.
Oh yeah, Logan Paul. Yay, my favorite wrestlers in Money in the Bank. I like it. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I still would have given him at least a qualifier win. My only small nitpick nerdy thing, put him over Tozawa, put him over in a battle royal or something like that last second. But otherwise, I think he'll add to the entertainment of the match. He's still a good enough promo. I think he'll, like I said, add to the actual match itself. I'm sure he'll do something fucking cool. So otherwise, I'm fine with it. I don't want him to win, but he might.
He got announced, and I'm like, well, there goes my prediction. Because I could totally see them going, here's your briefcase, put it all over Instagram, take it everywhere you go, take pictures with it all over the world. True. Take it, put it on your podcast, have it sitting right next to you. And
then it's also a good excuse as to why he doesn't cash in because there's always times every episode where it's that guy should cash in right now, but he doesn't for no reason.
Also, it would be...
And he was not there.
It would get a huge pop whenever he actually did to show up to cash in, especially if he wasn't advertised for something. He could just show up and, or fake like he's going to go be somewhere, for whatever, some other thing, and then he shows up and, cashes in the briefcase.
So basically, he'd be the Money in the Bank winner for the exact same reason why Tyrus is the NWA champion. Because you could show that NWA belt on TV.
This would be probably way better though, but yeah.
Way better because Tyrus sucks, but still.
Well, I just meant okay. I wasn't even saying it that way. I just meant more Tyrus gets on Fox News. It's a very niche demo already.
Yeah, Logan
Paul will be on fucking everywhere.
Yeah, Fox News viewers are not. Or watching Money in the Bank, or not watching wrestling. They don't give a shit.
They're not watching Power.
My dad watches Fox News. He's not watching wrestling. He's not watching NWA Power.
My dad does both, but he's not watching NWA.
Yeah. He barely ever came to shows that I was on reffing. So he doesn't even. He's not going to watch anything on TV.
And Logan Paul's talented. That's it.
Yeah,
that's true.
But yeah,
what can I do to you guys?
Anyway, yeah,
you're back now, by the way, Jacob. We can see you and hear you.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not in HD, but you're here.
I don't know what's going on with my internet lately. I'm gonna check it out once we're done. But
and your lips aren't matching your words. So you look like a dubbed Chinese movie, but we can hear you clearly. It's just not matching whatever you're saying. Yeah,
you're about your kung pao into the.
Yeah, your kung pao. I'm here to.
I'm gonna leave and come back.
You killed my father. Came to get you.
Talk about Trish as well.
Yeah, Sorry, Logan Paul's in it.
I think you said Church is chicken. I'm like, well, that was good. Popeyes.
Logan Paul's in it. Yeah. Logan Paul's in it. I mean, I could definitely see that the route of him winning. I still think you have to capitalize on LA Knight's popularity. When he came out in Raw, he got a huge pop. I think they're onto something with him. He's really good. And with Trish, yeah, it's cool to see her in the Money in the Bank, but I don't know. I don't think she needs a win, but I can see her winning. But yeah.
No, you take that back.
I could see her winning. I'm sorry. I could just do it. I can
I
see
want her
it.
to win even less than I do Logan, because Logan makes sense on a entertainment aspect, but like I'm cool with Trish being in it. It actually is. It's her first time in it, so I'm cool with that star power. But I don't want her to win it.
I don't want her to win either, but I can see it happening.
I still like the men's. I'm like LA Knight or Logan Paul. The women's, I have no idea. I feel like
I gotta look at the list. I don't remember who's in it.
It's so as of right now, I got to pull it. It's Becky Lynch, Zoe Stark, Trish Stratus, Raquel Rodriguez, Zelina Vega, the winner of Bailey and Shotzi, I guess, on SmackDown, and Io Sky.
That's interesting because if you go with the heel logic, which not always happens, there's no great like heel except for Trish. So I mean Zoe maybe, but I think again it's just like a hey, you're here, let's test you kind of thing.
Yeah,
Trish
might win.
Is Raquel in it? Because I thought she lost to qualified as Trish. So was that
I've got an article as of 12 hours ago that she's in it.
Did they rectify it? Well, maybe I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because she lost shenanigans. It was a stupid finish, but yeah, because Becky accidentally got a DQ, so maybe that was Rose. But yeah, I don't know. Out of them, like if Raquel's in it, I could see her winning. But other than that, I'll either Io Sky or Zoe Starks. I think maybe Zoe Starks not yet. I'd say Io Sky. Just because maybe you want Raw and SmackDown. I'd say I would say, I don't know. If Logan Paul, I don't know. It's hard. Women's is hard, but I will.
Well, you got time to think about it. We're not predicting it right now.
I know. I would say yes.
That's next. Yeah. That's next week.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're gonna get blessed with 2 good weekends of wrestling instead of 1 good weekend like last time.
Yeah.
So yeah, JPO, I know you usually bring graphics for these predictions. Do you have graphics?
I don't, because I always seem to have a harder time with AEW than I do WWE.
Okay.
WWE, you literally just go to WWE.com and it's like, bam, here's a nice HD graphic.
Right. Well,
I might be able to pull up the website I pulled up last time, and you can share.
Yeah, find what website that was, because I can never find it.
Let me see here.
Well, I will say one of the matches that we'll be predicting is a Rampage spoiler, because it will be announced on Rampage. JPO, I hope you don't hate us too much for that.
No, whatever. We're just announcing the match. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. Rampage is a C show these days, anyway.
It's still the B show until we see Collision doing well.
Collision did well. Have you seen the rating?
Yeah, so did the first episode of WWE's main event. So
well, no, it's definitely the C show, just based on how it's booked too, though.
But yeah, so far 11 matches. We'll see if anything else gets added, maybe on Collision.
Here's a good thing.
I do have one we can go up and down on, so let me share it, and we'll go from the bottom. At least what's announced as of right now. They could announce 1 or 2 more things on Collision or whatever. Rampage.
Right. And I don't know if the one you have the one you have pull up might not have the match that gets announced on Rampage. So if it doesn't, we'll just.
Yeah, this one at least there's like prediction stuff on there and thoughts, but it at least has them listed pretty much in order. So we can just go up and down that if you want to. There we go. So this looks like it's got a pre-show thing here, so it kind of starts there and we'll work our way up.
Okay, cool.
It's a weird pre-show match too, by the way. Like 2 women. I mean, I guess they don't want to shout out New Japan guys maybe for the pre-show, but it's a weird pre-show match.
Well, you couldn't get.
We had 4 last year, and 1 was announced like an hour before the actual show. So I would be surprised if this was the only pre-show match.
You couldn't get someone from Stardom or something.
I guess you're gonna save money, but.
But yeah, I guess we'll. That's where we'll start. We'll start with the pre-show match. Let me get ready to keep track of our predictions because I need to know how badly I lose by. I've won once. It's not happening again. So JPO or whoever's at the bottom. I'm not on. I can't see who's at the bottom.
It's JPO.
Richie Pezzi.
JPO.
Yeah, I kind of said before. I could maybe see that big like debut win. Because I know this is Starks' first big. Well, no, she's done Dark maybe, but this is definitely her first, probably her biggest match yet. Very young too. Like I'm not joking. Like I think she's just turned 18 not too long ago. Her and that Nick Wayne guys have been kind of scouted for a while. But I think Athena also the fact that she's still Ring of Honor champion. I don't see her losing to Billy, and so I'm gonna say Athena takes his first win.
All right, Richie.
I'd say it's the second biggest one because she had a title match with Tony Storm on Battle of the Belts. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, what was
True,
it?
I forgot.
Was it Tony Storm or was it who was the champion? Yeah, Jamie Hayter.
But I know what you mean now. Yeah, she was on Battle of the Belts, so yeah.
It was Jamie Hayter.
Close to being even because who watches Battle of the Belts? But it is a free.
I know. I don't know if they're still doing it, but yeah. Anyway, I'll still say Athena, but I could, just because she's got the momentum. But I'm sure it will be a decent match. But yeah, seems like they didn't know where else to put this match. So we'll put this on the pre-show. But yeah, it doesn't scream New Japan or anything. But it should be fine, and Athena should go over. Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah, I think most of these pre-show matches are fairly predictable, so I'll say Athena. Yeah. She could, she'll at least make it through the first round. We'll see about the second round, but at least the first round.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Athena as well. She's a champion. It's a pre-show. Usually, you don't have your champions lose on even if it's not an AEW champion. They don't usually lose on pre-show matches. So, yep, I'm taking Athena as well, which will move us into our next match, which is the trios tag team match. Now, I since we don't know the third member, I will allow you guys, if you want to, once the third tag team member is announced, if you want to change your prediction, just let us know in the chat. However, right now, because that maybe that sways things for you. I don't know. But Richie, who do you got? And just for fun, if you have an idea of who you think the
all right,
could be.
So for fun, okay, I've got Team Sting and Darby Allin, but I've got two. I mean, there's one more likely than the other. There's one that's a pipe dream, and I don't know how well he could go. And two is more likely. One pipe dream, just because I know he's a huge influence on Chris Jericho, and Japanese legend. My one pipe dream would be Ultimate Dragon. So, he's done the side moonsault, but the more likely of the two, because of the history and that Darby Allin alluded to, I think it's Tetsuya Naito.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll go Sting, Darby Allin, and TBA probably Naito. So.
Yeah, Naito's a good shout. That's probably I would go with him. Austin, who you got in this one?
I'll take, just because it's like a mystery partner thing, that usually means that team will probably win. Whoever it is, I'll just go with that. I don't know, because you could either go with like somebody, maybe from all the way back in the WCW days, because of what they're alluding to with the Sting thing as well, or like Richie's saying, like could be based on what Alan said, like you made enemies in all different places. It could be a Japan thing, a New Japan person, like for sure. So I don't know which way to go. I haven't really thought about the WCW angle, so I don't know.
They're bringing Dean Malenko out of retirement.
I considered it. I don't think so. Yeah, he's not. Well, so no.
They're bringing Ralphus.
Ralphus is dead.
He died.
They can make it happen.
I didn't want to spoil it, guys, but I'm shaving my head. Ralphus Jr. debuting this Sunday, baby.
Anyone can be Kimchi. Anyone can be Ralphus.
Saudis want Ralphus, so we can't get Ralphus, so we'll just get Jojo and shave his head.
They wanted Yoko.
I'll get back to you in a minute with who I think is the partner, but you go over. I'll say, but for the prediction, I'll say the Sting team though.
That's who I'm thinking too, because I mean, they still haven't made a big deal about I don't think about Sting still being undefeated. And so this would be like a big match for him to lose, but I also think, since they're teasing that dissension between Jericho and Sammy, unless it's just a swerve, which I think would be stupid because I think
They've
Sammy.
done it before though with Jericho and Garcia. They can't do it again.
Well, they could.
They could, but it'd be dumb.
But again, I think Sammy is getting over with the fans, and I would like to see him go on another face run. So I think dissension there. Maybe Sammy walks out. I don't know. Sting and Chris Jericho finally facing off against each other in the ring. Who needs the win more at this point in their career? I don't think either of them get the pin. I think Darby gets the pin on somebody, or Naito if it's the mystery partner. I don't know. But either way, I'm going Sting, Darby, and TBA. JPO?
100% on Sting, Darby, and I'm going to go ahead and just put my money on there. It's got to be Naito. This is Forbidden Door with New Japan, and Naito is somebody that we unfortunately haven't even seen yet. So, but with the fact that him and Jericho actually they're even, they both traded wins. One of them was on a Wrestle Kingdom. I think it's definitely Naito, and several reasons why I think they're going to win. Yeah, you said it, and others probably did too. Jericho and Guevara. That's probably going to lead to a match between those two, so they don't need to get this big win here. I think between the fact that it'll be Naito's debut, most likely anyway, as you said, kind of Sting really hasn't really lost a match yet. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be this team Sting.
All right.
Well, okay, I'll go with Naito as well. So that just X's it all out. So who cares? Whatever.
I can't see who else it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a Legends just based on the fact that
you figure it's going to be a New Japan person because of Forbidden
right.
It'd be kind of cool for nostalgia reasons for Ultimate Dragon, but I don't know if he can go. But
yeah, but the other thing too, to just go along with that, no offense to Ultimate Dragon, you already have Sting that's pretty handicapped. Let's get another guy in there that can go.
You need somebody in there that can work, and Sting.
Yeah, you don't need Darby.
Sting comes in for that. They put the heat on Darby. You get the hot tag to Naito. Sting comes in, does a spot or two, whatever, and let them work.
Dragon still works, but I don't.
You need the two guys who can work. Yeah, one guy, little guy, who can take the heat, and Sting just comes in, does a spot or two, put somebody in the Scorpion Death Block. You know what I mean? Whatever. So that's what you do. Yeah, it's fair. 10-man tag, Blackpool Combat Club plus Umino and Takashita versus the Elite and also Eddie Kingston and Ishii. They did work Ishii, as you were talking about. They did work him into a match. So there you go. Yeah.
This match, Austin, you're first on this one. I'll save it.
I don't know who wins this one. I'll say Blackpool takes it. But I'm not confident on that. So
I feel like the booking for this match has just been so convoluted and just so they're trying to do so much because you also got Kenny and Ospreay, you got Danielson and Okada, and they've been trying to build it all together, and it just feels like too much. Let's focus on Danielson and Okada separately. Let's focus on Omega and Ospreay separately, even though they are, involved in these factions. But it's let's build them separately and get people to care about this match, because people are going to care about Danielson and Okada because it's freaking Danielson and Okada. They're going to care about Omega and Ospreay because they've yet to disappoint together. I'm not this one is just Eddie Kingston's back and he hates Claudio and he's brothers with Moxley, and it's it feels like it's I don't care because I don't feel like they've focused on it enough. Because they've been trying to do it all together, and it hasn't worked for me. I hope the match is good. I really do. It will be interesting to see how Eddie Kingston works with the Elite, because he, flat out said he doesn't like them or respect them, but he's going to work with them, I guess.
That's why I feel like I'm going with Blackpool in this one, because they're going to do something to Eddie to piss him off, and Eddie's going to bitch slap some of them or something. I don't know. Yeah. I don't see them getting along in the match. Something will blow up with that, or Eddie Kingston and Ishii will just. They had that other match, just start beating the shit out of each other out of nowhere for whatever reason, and just whatever, it'll all just break down, and Blackpool will pick it up from there. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's my thing.
I'm tempted, but I don't know if the Elite lose at two big shows back to back, which is the only reason I'm slightly going towards the Elite. But I could honestly see this go either way. I'm leaning like 51-49 the Elite. Jordan.
Yeah, either way is kind of how I feel. I'm going to agree with you and say the reason I'm going to say the Elite is just based on the very simple booking fact of they lost an Anarchy match. So let's give Omega and the Bucks a nice win here to now kind of even this feud up a little bit more. We've got all these little kind of mini feuds in between now. Omega can finally get one up on Takeshita. Eddie may be over on Claudio. There's a couple different ways that I think that just makes more sense than BCC just getting another win. So yeah, that's why I'll go Elite here because I think they kind of need it more.
And is it just me? Or am I reading too much into it? Does it feel like they may be working towards kicking Wheeler Yuta out of the group?
It does feel like that.
So maybe Yuta takes the pin. I don't know. But Richie,
maybe he seems to be the one eating the pin. He seems to be the one always getting attacked. Yeah, I seems to be. It's subtle, but yeah, I can sense that. I don't know. Maybe it's too early to kick anyone out of the group yet, but I don't know. I can sense it. But yeah, and maybe just to have Takeshita in the group officially. That's probably maybe so they don't have. I don't know. Maybe that let's take Wheeler out of it. But yeah, I hope they don't just like stop and that they just like if they take him out of it, I still want Wheeler to get a push because he's really good. But yeah, I just hope they still do stuff with Wheeler. But yeah, this it is difficult. But yeah, I get based on the same logic. I'll probably go with the Elite because yeah, I don't know. I think they need to win. But yeah, like there's a lot of moving parts here. But yeah, it has been a bit convoluted. Yeah, so I think ultimately, yeah, like the Elite need to win, sort of tie it up, and then maybe you do another sort of bigger match down the road. I could see eventually Takeshita and Omega having a singles match. Maybe, I don't know if it's going to be a pay-per-view. I could see maybe they're going to build to John Moxley and Eddie Kingston down the line. That'd be kind of cool. Again, but yeah, I'll say the Elite with Eddie Kingston and Ishii. Yeah, but I'm not 100% confident, but it makes sense in my mind booking wise.
All right, our next match.
Is anybody taking Kojima in this, given the fact he was a replacement?
Yeah, it was meant to be Kenta.
Yeah, so is anybody not?
Oh, is that what it was supposed to be?
Yeah,
I don't know if it was meant to be an Owen Hart thing, but
no, they were definitely trying to get Kenta, and then he pulled out, and so they put Kojima in. So is anybody taking anybody other than CM Punk in this? No, skip it. No.
Yeah, no. I mean, CM Punk's winning. He's not going to get even if Toshi Kojima wasn't a replacement. Punk isn't losing this early to Kojima.
Yeah. Between him being a replacement, Punk's return, and it's a tournament match that Kojima's not going to be in.
Kojima's really good, but he's not losing to Punk.
All right. So, well, mark it down, Jacob, and we'll move on. Everybody's taking Punk in this one. Maybe the most sure thing of the whole thing. So
yeah.
All right, this one could be a hot match. Get these guys in there flying all over. Orange Cassidy, Zack Sabre Jr., Shibata, and Daniel Garcia for the international title. Yeah, so yeah, this could be interesting. So I guess technically, did I go first last time? Jacob, you're up to you.
Yeah, you can hear me.
Yeah, he's starting to freeze.
A bit wonky again. But,
yeah.
So cool.
I can hear you though.
All right, cool. I'm just gonna go with Orange Cassidy because he seems to lose the belt.
Yeah.
JPO.
I'm gonna say Orange too. Again, just kind of go with Shibata's in Ring of Honor. I know he's not gonna randomly win the title. Zack Sabre's not gonna win the title. He's not committed. Garcia, they've hinted more that he's probably gonna get the Ring of Honor Pure title off Shibata, maybe. So I think this is just another fun here's a guy from New Japan, a couple guys from New Japan, get him in the show. Yeah, so I'm going to say Cassidy.
Yeah, much the same logic here. So, Zack Sabre Jr., although, he would make a great international champion, he is already a champion in New Japan. I could see, I was almost, no disrespect to the other guys, I was kind of maybe expecting maybe to 1-on-1 between Orange and Zack Sabre Jr. maybe, but it's all good. And yeah, Shibata is the Ring of Honor Pure Champion, and Daniel Garcia looks to be going for that title. So yes, I think Orange Cassidy will retain, and yeah, that's probably where that goes. But yeah, it should be. I predict that this might be one of the matches of the show. There's no way this match will be won't be at least very good. But yeah, I would say I agree with the writer of this article, Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll also go with Orange to squeak it out and hang on to it. But yeah, if everybody remembers, Orange Cassidy kind of stole the show at the last Forbidden Door with Will Ospreay. So that nobody,
and we were all like,
oh, I didn't see that coming, and it was great.
And we were all like, why is Will Ospreay taking on Orange Cassidy?
And then it was awesome, and then it stole the show. Yeah, so I could definitely see this one stealing the show as well. I mean, I think they're going to be great matches on the show, but yeah, it could definitely be like that mid card match that kind of knocks everybody's socks off. So, yeah, I'll go with that.
All right, it appears I'm back. Hopefully,
you're more clearer now too.
All right, cool. If it happens, if it happens again, just keep going since you can read, and I can still hear, so I'll be able to keep track of your predictions.
I got you.
So next match.
Next match is Toni Storm and Willow Nightingale for the women's title. Yeah.
JPO, we're back to you.
Hi. So yeah, I'm gonna also say this might have been a replacement because I know there's maybe the hint of Mercedes Moné instead of Willow, who's now the strong champion based on the injury mid-match. So with that, and then also just I don't think Tony's done with the title. Toni Storm here.
Well, yeah, I think it was actually from reports. I think it's supposed to be Mercedes Moné versus Saraya, which would have been interesting because there's a history there. But Saraya hasn't even been featured on TV for a couple of weeks. I don't know what happened there. Maybe, So I guess it's a replacement match. Yeah, I guess there's two women's champions here, but yeah, like I don't know. But it is for the AEW Women's Championship. Willow Nightingale doesn't need 2 belts. This is like doesn't really. Yeah, this would be a random time for Toni Storm to lose. Even though I don't know, she was a real. I mean, her run at the moment was sort of not planned either. I think they just didn't take the belt of Jamie Hayter because she was hurt, so they kind of had to shorten her run. But yeah, I'll go Toni Storm pretty confidently here.
Austin?
Yeah, didn't Toni just win it like not that long ago?
Yeah, like at the last pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, she's not losing it yet, especially to Will. So yeah, Toni.
Yeah, same logic. Some of these are pretty easy to predict.
I think some of these, are going to be easy predictions. So we may have to do some other things to break the ties. Maybe go back to our trusty openers and closes. You know what I mean? To kind of break some ties.
The only championship match that's never easy to predict is the TNT title.
Yeah,
it's the only one that could go either way every single time.
So for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, we have Sonata versus 140-pound Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
Oh, back off, Cornette, with your weights.
Sorry.
You can fight for the heavyweight title.
I'm just saying.
He's not that much smaller than Sonata. How big is Sonata?
Who just lost to MJF for the World Heavyweight title.
That's fine. That's a good argument that I agree with.
So it's 2 arguments that I'm putting forward.
That second argument I'm totally with, not the first one.
Right. So why the fuck is he getting this match and not somebody else who's...
Because you need someone to job as Sonata. I don't know. That's about it.
Why not get somebody good that could put up a good fight and still lose to Sonata? But okay.
You need the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion on the show, and I guess they also want Jungle Boy on the show, but I don't know what. There surely there would have been other people, but yeah, I guess it's one Jungle Boy on the show. Anyway.
Richie, we'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I'm sure it'll be a really good match as well, though. It's you got to be. It's Sonata. I mean, Jack Perry's on this crusade that he's going to win a title at before the end of this year, for the end of the year. I predict maybe even though it's not I hope it's not true because it's not doesn't mean much for a title. It feels like he might be at the end of the day, we might gun for the FTW title. Just not much of a title. But like, I mean, I don't know if he counts that. But like, yeah, I don't think this is a title he'll ultimately win. I think he's more likely to win like a TNT title or FTW or whatever. But yeah, so Sonata pretty comfortably, but this will be a good match, really good match.
Yeah, Austin.
Yeah, I'm not super looking forward to the match, but I could be surprised, just like the Orange Cassidy Will Ospreay one from last year. But yeah, I'm pretty confident Sonata's going to keep his title.
Yeah, I'm going with Sonata as well. I think it'll be a good match. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the only downfall to these championship matches is it never feels like the title is in jeopardy. With these cross promotions, I hope one day I'm wrong about that, and then it's like, a New Japan guy does win, like the AEW.
The only ones I would is if they were doing a tag team title match, because I feel like tag teams could float around. Like
FTR last year.
Yeah, like
and like Aussie Open.
Yeah, like because I feel like you could float tag teams around and it would be kind of cool. You know what I mean? Cross.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like literally the heavyweight title. No, Jungle Boy is not representing the IWGP heavyweight title. In Japan, like he's just not. Yeah.
I also think we might be seeing a Jungle Boy heel turn. Maybe
that's why I think he might he might be going after the FTW title.
And then he'll reunite with the heel Luchasaurus, and we'll get heel Jurassic Express.
Yeah,
I don't know. I doubt it. JPO, who you got in this one?
Fools! Jungle Boy wins the title. Just kidding. No, yeah, I mean, no, but I definitely agree with the second logic of like this. He's there just because they like Jungle Boy and they need the champion on the show. That's why it's here. So yeah, no, Sonata retains. Jungle Boy's not all of a sudden going to start touring Japan in the middle of nowhere. So yeah.
All right. So here we go. These two guys, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay for the IWGP US title.
Yeah,
Kenny Omega, the current champion. So yeah, this one. These guys don't have bad matches, I don't think. So I'm not expecting them to have a bad match here. So yeah.
I know the way you've got it listed, but I wouldn't be surprised if this closes the show.
I believe on Dynamite when Okada came out, Excalibur had mentioned that was going to be the main event.
Yeah.
So okay. I think Okada Danielson is main eventing, but yeah, I would be surprised if this one main evented either, because I mean, these are two guys who every time they're together have not had a bad match. So Austin, who you got in this one?
Yeah, this one's a little tougher to predict because both guys are in Japan a lot, doing like, Will Ospreay's always over there. Kenny Omega's always over there. So this one is the one title match where I could see them changing the title. And I think they will. I'll say Will Ospreay takes the title in this one and beats Kenny Omega this time. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Will Ospreay as well. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kenny's had it for quite a few months, right? Maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah, he's had it for a while.
So, yeah, him losing it, I don't think is too far fetched at this point. But this is one that I think could go either way. I'm just looking forward to a great match. Good old Dave Meltzer 6-star classic. So this is one where I'm fine with whoever wins, but for prediction's sake, I'm going to go with Will Ospreay. Jordan? Jordan?
All right. No, sorry, I had to get my mouth. Yeah, I could see Ospreay, and I think the ultimate goal, if you kind of follow the story a little bit here, is Ospreay to get that win back. My hesitation is, does he get that win back here in AEW in the States? I'm going to go with Omega retaining, because I think the final match where Ospreay gets his win back is going to be in New Japan. It's going to be in front of his crowd, because this is Omega's crowd. And again, I think Ospreay, that story finally being like, so far Omega's always gotten the best of Ospreay. It's kind of the story so far. So I think when Ospreay gets it, it's weird to get an AEW and then not, be an AEW. So I think he's going to get into New Japan. So I'm going to say Omega retains.
Yeah, but then he could hold that. I see your logic, and I just like to add on to it. He hold that over Omega, like, hey, I came to your territory and beat you. And Omega be like, well, I came to Japan and beat you. Blah, blah. So now they're gonna have to settle it in neutral territory. So the next NXT takeover will be main evented by Kenny Omega.
What?
What do you got?
Yeah, I know it does sound logic by JPO. But that being said, I give the slight edge to Will Ospreay. I think he wins it back here. I think he, like while Kenny Omega does still do stuff in New Japan, I think he's more probably the busy guy. Will Ospreay can get across to carry that to the it can. It can afford to probably defend it a bit more, and Kenny Omega could win it back down the line as well. But yeah, I just think Will Ospreay at the end of the day is going to win it, and and I think Will Ospreay's a guy you could always, he's always going to be on these type of shows. So as long as he can go, and I'll get the slight edge to Will Ospreay here, but it's tough. It'll be good. I don't know why. It's like again, when I said that the four-way would be in the match of the show, I did forget about these other two. It'll be the third good match of the show. These other two will probably steal that, to be honest. But yes, Will Ospreay.
All right. The AEW World Title, MJF and Tanahashi.
Yeah. I would love for it to be Tanahashi because I've gone on record. I'm just not a big MJF fan. But the way they've been building, MJF and Adam Cole, to have MJF lose would just be stupid. So, MJF. APO?
Yeah, Tanahashi, didn't he job last year in the title match?
Yeah, to Moxley.
So let's keep that streak going. MJF losing the title, it's not going to be, again, almost same logic as before, even though I think Tanahashi has a bigger shot than like a Jungle Boy would. But I don't see MJF losing in randomly here. He's already kind of he's in the middle of a storyline already with Adam Cole and whatnot. So, plus Jacob's just so fucking wrong. MJF is delightful. So, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, he's better than you, and you know it, and he will retain.
I don't think anyone has ever used delightful to describe MJF until just now. Richie, who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I know I love Hiroshi Tanahashi. I think he's fantastic. But yeah, like eventually, I do hope that like at future Forbidden Doors we get them like they realize, hey, we don't necessarily always have to put Hiroshi Tanahashi in title matches. We can give other there are like people like I don't know like Naito. There are people we could put in that slot who could be but like Tanahashi's great, but Carter. But anyway, but yeah, I mean again, it's like this. I think it's one of those things. This is like this is almost like 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 one of those impact like the impact things where like when they have those small shows where it's like they're building to something else, but like hey, but they're like hey, could you but could could the champion beat this person? I'm like, well, no, they can't because you're already building toward a bigger match. So it's like although that logic crumbles because Alex Shelley beat Steve Macklin,
Motor City Machine Guns, baby,
which wasn't expecting.
Impact.
Which I wasn't expecting. But as a general rule, usually they have these small shows that don't mean much and to build to something up, and then. But yeah, so I mean, I say MJF because they're not only building towards like Adam Cole, they feel like they're subtly building towards like CM Punk or something, so like a down the line. So I'll say MJF, but it could be be a decent match. But yeah, MJF definitely.
Yeah, and MJF's not losing this title. He's doing a great job being kind of the centerpiece of the company right now. As the asshole champion you kind of love, but kind of hate at the same time. I'm kind of with Jacob in that his wrestling has not blown me away ever. maybe eventually as he continues to get more experience. But I love him as a character and as a promo, and I love him in interviews. When he goes on YouTube shows and stuff. Like I like that. But I've never looked forward to an MJF match. Let's just put it that way. Like where I'm like, that'll be the best match on the show. Like even the last pay-per-view, he had a good match, but there was also some other very talented people in that match. That helped carry it. So but I'll still go with MJF.
All right, and so speaking of MJF and the storylines, and before we go to this one, the match that was announced on Rampage. So that's the spoiler. Adam Cole will be taking on Tom Lawler.
Okay.
That's random.
Filthy Tom Lawler.
Filthy Tom.
Fuck yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I love Filthy Tom Lawler, but yeah, I didn't know I was going to be in the show.
That's right. Okay, cool. That sounds fun. Is anybody Is anybody taking Tom Lawler in that match? No, Adam Cole, because he's building towards a title match right now.
Right. So I figured before we
Holy shit.
Before we go to a match that's hard to predict, we'll go to one that's easy to predict, and then we can rack our brains over this one.
You guys, here's the small caveat I'll throw out, and I'm not saying this is gonna happen. My pick is Adam Cole. MJF screws over Cole.
Why wouldn't? Yeah, Well, then would he not be afraid that Cole's is going to do the same thing to him in his match?
His match goes first.
MJF's?
Sure.
You think they're gonna? No, both title matches are going to be towards the end of the show. Adam Cole and Tom Lawler feels like the middle of the show.
All right, Danielson Okada.
All right, well, JPO, you're up first for this one.
I want to hear other people's opinion.
No, but
here, you want me to just guess my way into it first, and then it'll give you a minute?
Sure.
Cool. I don't know. Okada puts over Danielson. What? I don't know. So Danielson wins. I'll give you 10 seconds. There you go.
All right, Okada wins. This is the most there is no story outside of these two are great. People want to see this. Here you go. Yeah. That's the story. So I'll say Okada.
I will say these two are fantastic. I want to see this quite badly. I do. There's a slight part of me because we didn't get. I felt they were robbed of Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. last year. I was hoping they would kind of do that this year, but I am glad we're getting this match. But yeah, it makes 100%. I'll give the slight edge to Okada, but it's hard.
Yeah. I'm also gonna go with Okada. For the simple fact that I feel like the show has been predominantly AEW heavy in terms of winners. And I think, maybe, the Blackpool Combat Club could use this as a, hey, we need to refocus. We need to, and they can just go back on the run of, beating guys up. Because I just realized the three of us, being me, Richie, and JPO, all have the Blackpool Combat Club losing all their matches. Austin has them winning both, so that could be the difference maker.
And Jacob's going to be pissed again if my stumbling into it wins the whole thing, because I was the odd man out, much like I did with Roman and Cody. I was the odd man out, and then stumbled into it.
So outside of the main event, because I'm pretty sure it was announced, I remember hearing vividly that Danielson and Okada is main eventing. So I guess we could, as a tiebreaker, what opens the show?
All right, all right. Just because there is a habit of him. There is a kind of a precedent that he opens most dynamites I'm going the Orange Cassidy 4-way. Orange Cassidy tends to open a lot of the shows, so I'll go Orange the 4-way, the international title match.
All right, Austin.
I'll say this Jericho Appreciation versus Sting, Darby, and Naito. I think you bring Naito out to get a nice pop at the beginning of the show, along with Sting, and then I have them going over, gets the crowd nice and hot, do some fun Sting spots, and you get them out there early, just that with that and the whole mystery aspect, to get the crowd going and into Forbidden Door. So I'll take that one.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with, just because I have to be different from Richie because we've agreed on everything. And so I don't want to go with my answer as well, because then we'll have to come up with another tiebreaker. I'm gonna go with Adam Cole and Tom Lawler.
Yeah, why not?
as the opener. JPO.
I don't think we're tied anyway, but I'm with Pez though, because I think what he said, nice pop with Naito, or regardless of who, nice pop because it's just someone different that you don't know. And then also too, I think if we're all our predictions right, you end hot with the team winning. You know what I mean? Maybe some dispersion between Jericho and Sammy and the face team winning. So
Toriano.
maybe, man, I just have some fun with it. Who knows?
I know.
Juventud Guerrera.
No, it's got to be New Japan. So A-Train.
Lord Tensai.
Yeah. Oh, Giant Bernard.
He was good in New Japan. I like Giant Bernard.
All right. Well, we will transition from the new and move in to the old.
Oh, is it my turn to take over because it's my show?
Yeah. As you know, we all won predictions for Double or Nothing Night of Champions weekend, and so this week is Austin's. Austin has decided to bless us with a good show, not a bad Russo show. So we will be talking the Great American Bash, and yeah, I know that you really like this show, so yeah, why don't you go ahead and
we're talking specifically, the 1989 Great American Bash, considered to be one of early WCW's best overall shows. You wouldn't know it just as we started here because it starts out a little slow, a little clunky, but as it gets going, especially the second half of the show is full of bangers and full of good stuff. But yeah,
the Glory Days, it was called.
Glory Days. Well, it might have been the Glory Days.
If they were yearning for the Glory Days in 1989, it feels like I have some bad news for them. It gets a lot worse.
Well, this kind of was the last Bash of the Glory Days. This is still the Jim Crockett stuff, and then Jim Herd would come in and screw everything up and piss everybody off in the early 90s and run everybody away, like Flair and the Midnight Express and a lot of these big stars. Cornette's talked a lot about Jim Herd being on his shit list, and he hates that guy, and he would come and screw a lot of things up. So, so this might have been the last Bastion of that. But, we're coming from the Baltimore Arena. We got on commentary Jim Ross and Bob Caudle, which again, one point I'll make about the announcement, I kind of prefer when they have like a play-by-play guy and like some sort of heel color guy, like a Jesse Ventura.
I agree to agree. Let's agree.
Yeah, we both agree and are kind of saying the same things. Like it makes for. Like I'm not saying it's boring. JR is good, but I like when there's at least a heel dynamic in there, kind of rooting for the bad guys. It makes it a little more fun. So yeah, if you'd had like a Jess Ventura around here,
Bob Caudle, by the way, I looked him up. He's still alive. 92.
Well, good for him.
He did stuff last year for the Ric Flair last match thing.
Yeah, and we have Gordon Solie doing all the kind of backstage interviews, and he's an old school guy, so that makes sense. He's a good backstage guy. But we open up with apparently some technical difficulties because on the network it said we had to cobble this match together from technical difficulties. But
Yeah, I got the sentence presented in the most complete form possible.
yeah, I've seen that on a couple of other like random nitros and stuff too, where they just don't have a good master tape of the whole thing, or for whatever reason, with problems.
I mean, for '89, it looked fine to me. At least what they had. I didn't really notice anything.
I didn't notice a lot. I guess they edited it together pretty well. The editor you don't really notice, but this felt very TNA. The rules of this thing, because it was a triple.
Yeah, explain the rules, please. Because I was like,
triple
what?
crown battle royal where you eliminate the people in the match. We should say there's two rings set up because they're going to have war games later.
Right.
So there's two rings right next to each other. But it's a battle royal where you got to throw the guy into the other ring, and that eliminates them, sort of. And then once they're in the other ring, they have to get eliminated again over the top rope. And then the final two people, once there's one guy left in the left ring, he just, I guess, stands around and waits while the other people in the other ring continue the battle royal in that ring. And when you have the final guy, they're supposed to have a match together. Yeah, so, sounds like some Russo shit, but I swear it's not.
On reflection, Battle Riot's not that convoluted.
Yeah. Right.
I've never seen a match like this. Yeah, this is
no, it was very weird. Yeah, I had to listen to it like twice.
And also, what's with the fucking crowns? I'm sorry, what did I miss?
It's something with Teddy Long. I don't know. I don't know.
That crown looked like it was $5.
Yeah, it looked like a Dollar Tree.
I don't know if you noticed, dude. Like Rick Steiner legitimately just like chucked his at a kid.
Oh yeah, he's like, get that out of here. I don't know.
It was the King of the Hill double ring battle royal.
Essentially, yeah. So there's a lot of people in here, a lot of tag teams in here. The Skyscrapers, the Steiners, a couple of single guys. You had like Ranger Ross, Ranger Ross in there. Ron Simmons might have been in there. Yeah.
That was a new name to me, Ranger Ross. I was like,
Ranger Ross was all right. I kind of wanted to see more of him. He had some fire out there. I kind of liked him.
I feel like he should be hosting that's the kind of name you'd see hosting a kid show on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
All right, Jimmy. Ranger Ross. If you get through the pickle boss, then.
But yeah, so yeah, after all this convoluted stuff, people are getting thrown around all over the place. It ends with Sid Vicious being victorious on the left side, and his partner Dan Spivey of the Skyscrapers, after he power bombs about 25 people in a row in the right ring. It ends up with him being the lone survivor. So the crowd started to get hot because, hey, tag team partner versus tag team partner. That's always fun. That's always interesting. But then, Teddy Long goes, no, he just decides we're not going to have that match. They're going to split the prize money. Boo. Yeah, and nobody liked that.
I swear to God.
Back then, too.
Yeah.
I think someone else mentioned this before. I swear, like Teddy Long has aged backwards. He looks older then, than he does now. It is weird.
I feel like people who they're balding just look older than when they're actually fully bald.
Yeah, and that's what it is, because he's got that weird, like, oh, you're losing your hair, versus now you're just kind of a nice looking bald guy.
He's got like the receding hairline bald that goes halfway up his head, and like some facial hairs. But then later when he's like SmackDown general manager, he looks more vibrant and young. Then it's very strange. But the crowd does not like the fact that Teddy Long just basically gives a big fuck you to the audience and tells you you're not going to see Spivey, which. Don't get me wrong, Spidey versus Sid Vicious would have been horrendous.
He saved one. He
might have spared the crowd.
I met Dan Spivey last year. He's a nice guy.
Oh, I'm sure he is, and I'll talk about Dan Spivey when we get to the actual tag.
Oh yeah, I'll talk about that too.
Because there was something very clear in that match involving Dan Spivey. So this battle royal kind of ends in a dud, but I don't know what everybody think overall. Yeah.
What I would say as well, like, I mean, it's clear. It's weird because he had this effect in WWE too, where like Sid Vicious is meant to be like obviously a heel, but like crowd really like him, and that happened in WWE as well. He was meant to be a heel, and the crowd
for whatever reason loves Sid Vicious even though he sucks most of the time. They just love him. I don't know. Yeah, it's inconceivable most of the time. Like why the crowd loves it. Yeah, we'll talk about the tag match and the crowd reaction later when we get to it, but it's very unusual. But he's not great, but they like just his look and his attitude, I guess. I don't know. He's a big scary guy who acts like a big scary guy. I don't know. Yeah, JPO, any thoughts real quick on this battle royal? Or
I'm sure on paper they were like, "Hey, let's take advantage of the two rings," and you know what I mean. But it's unnecessary. At the end of the day, just have a fucking battle royal. you
Well, you
know,
could have just had half the guys in one ring, half the guys in the other ring. Just use the ring, go over the top
do
rope.
the World War III thing,
Well,
yeah, and then
you could still
once we're
could
down
have
to 5.
well, you could have still had the final two guys, whoever they are, get in the ring and
True.
fight. Like just
Yeah,
do
similar,
that.
kind of similar to what World War. That's what I thought was
Yeah.
going to happen originally. I was like, oh, are they going to split it like World War III? But then, like,
Mhm.
yeah, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have
just
made
a
more
weird,
sense.
like, yeah, I there's a reason why I've never seen this before or after. So
Mhm.
I
I
think-
don't think it worked overall.
I think promotions just get too cute because they want to stand out and do something different. Like, hey, no,
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we don't want it just standard. Yeah, so it's like it's like the
I-
TNA, the reverse battle royal. Like, no,
I've been in booking meetings where someone will say something. I'm like, I get you're trying to do something different and kudos, but that's fucking dumb. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a reason that shit hasn't
Sometimes
happened,
you gotta
man.
have that person who's just like, no, that's stupid. Like we're just not gonna do
No,
that.
like they're just
Yeah.
convoluted to be convoluted at this point.
Right.
Let's
No,
do a
we're-
thing where a timer goes off every 30 seconds and when guys go out, come in, there's a cage on the side. Like, no, calm down. No.
That's how you got shit like the King of the Mountain match in TNA, where it's
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
convoluted.
you need a
It's too
fucking
convoluted.
notepad in front of you the entire time going, all
right. I don't need to
rules,
be
what?
taking notes and looking up. Yeah, the note, the
goddamn
rules as we
D&D
go.
match. All right, I rolled a 3,
Yeah.
which means I have firepower.
no, we're not putting the WWE title on Jinder Mahal.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, we are?
yeah.
What?
Think of what it would do like with India. Like, yeah, but we tried that with Great Khali.
So you
No.
pick a Canadian.
You picked the Canadian.
They picked the Canadian.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, this match was there.
Whatever. It's there. It was interesting just to pick out everybody who's in it and
Yeah.
crowd pop for certain people, whatever.
Everybody who also had a match later on.
Yeah, I mean, everybody who's in this match just had matches later for the most part. Yeah. But yeah, we kind of go into our first singles match. We got a very young flying Brian Pillman versus Wild Bill Irwin, who looks like every cowboy outlaw wrestler you've ever seen in your life. Yeah, he looks like a creator wrestler, cowboy wrestler. Like he's got the mullet with the mustache and the cowboy pants or whatever. It's the same shit you've seen with everybody. And Brian Pillman is 100% on a shitload of steroids in this match because oh my god, was he super shredded for this thing?
Yeah, Bill Irwin and Brian Pillman look like they went to the same barber. They got exactly the same haircut. Yeah, so it was like, but yeah, I mean, this match is all right. Well, for what it was, I guess.
It's too long for a kind of an opener. It goes like 10 or 12 minutes, and it should have been like 8 minutes. Like it should have been a little faster paced. It's like every heel babyface match you've ever seen. Just very, very basic. Just Bill puts the heat on him for an hour. Brian makes a comeback. The only thing that stood out was Brian actually used the 2 ring thing, and the finish was he jumped from the turnbuckle of the other ring into the ring they were originally in with a big crossbody and pinned him. And like I thought that was cool. Crowd kind of went for that. But other than that, yeah, not too much to stand out.
I will say I liked just to piggyback off that. I do like that they used the double ring more often than just the battle royal in the War Games match. They actually used them
right
throughout the night, which I liked. This match, I thought this should have been the opener over the battle royal. Maybe put the battle royal somewhere else to kind of like as like maybe a calm down or cool down because that one was just whatever. I think this one was decent. I think it had some good action. A good young Brian Pillman. I think a young Brian Pillman is great. So I liked the match. I thought it would have been a better opener than the Battle Royal, but then again, I think any match on the show would have been a better opener than the Battle Royal, which was just there.
Yeah,
the crowd weren't totally into it either. I don't think. I think they popped when Brian won, but I don't think that Brian was established at the time, and I don't know.
No, he was still very new. Bill Irwin was a just very mid card guy, so they didn't really care. Like I said, there's 100 cowboy gimmicks, outlaw gimmicks. So whatever, he's just another one of them. But yeah, JPO, any thoughts on this real quick?
No, I mean I get why on paper this is the better opener, but I get to you do the battle royal, get some of the faces out there, get that done, in and out and done if you're gonna do it. So yeah, no, I thought this was a very, very serviceable, basic match. Like you said, yeah, maybe shave off a couple of minutes could have been just that much tighter. But yeah, the very inoffensive, decent match actually. I haven't seen a lot of Irwin, so I actually thought, yeah, not an original gimmick by any means, but I thought he did it fine, and Pillman's a good face, so yeah, I kind of liked it a little bit. So
Yeah. They would start pushing Pillman a lot more. I looked ahead to a few other pay-per-views, and he would get more and more like high-profile matches over the next like year or so. So, he's a very talented dude, so they at least pushed him. But yeah, we went into a tag team match. Speaking of the skyscrapers of Spivey and Sid Vicious versus the Dynamic Dudes of.
Can I talk about the start?
Oh yeah. No, go ahead. Johnny Ace and Shane Douglas are the Dynamic Dudes. Yes.
So yeah. I just think that we can talk about the Johnny Ace and the Dynamic Dudes and how they try to make the least cool guy ever try to be cool with Johnny Ace. But no, I'm not talking about that. There's an awkward moment where Johnny Ace, I think, pulls this kid.
The kid thing is hilarious.
I thought he knew them. He just randomly just lifts up this kid out of the crowd and he tries to throw his frisbee at him. This kid's not having it. He's not interested at all. And he just throws. He doesn't even throw the frisbee to Johnny. He throws it to Shane Douglas and he's just okay, it's not working. I'm just.
He's a little fat kid who's got a frowny face the whole time, and he totally has you can make a meme out of his look during this whole exchange because he did not want to be there. Did not want to get pulled out of the crowd. Could not give two shits that he's playing frisbee with the Dynamic Dudes. It's amazing. It's a great moment. I was laughing out loud when I saw that. This kid, he looked like a straight meme kid of the frustrated kid that doesn't want to be there. It was pretty great.
It was awkward.
Yeah, it was really awkward. That and just why are we playing frisbee with the crowd? That's just weird. Oh, we're surfer dudes, so we like to play frisbee. Okay, well, I think eventually they would start coming out with surfboards. It's really weird. Why are you bringing your surfboard to the ring? I swear to God, I've seen a Dynamic Dudes match where they bring surfboards to the ring. But yeah, this match, it's weird because the crowd wants Sid Vicious the whole time. Anytime he's on the outside, it's we want Sid, we want Sid. But every time he comes in, but Shane Douglas and Johnny Ace do not want to work with him at all during this match, and you can tell because every time Sid gets in there, he comes in, he does an axe handle and a chop, and he tags right back out to Spivey because they probably told him, "No, we're gonna work with the better worker," which is clearly Spivey. Get him back in here so we can work with him because you can they're doing all their major spots with Spivey, not Sid. And it's very, very apparent in this match. But yeah, this match is not great. This match, dragged a lot. Spivey's doing his best to carry it, but it was not very good.
But then at the end, they botched the foot. But then Spivey goes for a powerbomb. He completely botches.
He botches it and still pins him anyway.
He still pins him. I'm like, dude, that's so botched. Just go for another one. Just do another one.
Yeah. He basically barely avoids dropping him right on his head and just kind of drops him on his back and then just pins him. It's not great. So, JPO, any thoughts on Dynamic Dudes and the skyscrapers here?
No, not much to add here. As you mentioned, Sid's very over, and that's almost distracting in the match when they're trying to be the heels. Dynamic Dudes is very much an era of their time. So now looking at him at 2023, I cannot get behind the Dynamic Dudes. No. Ace even looks 40 already at this point. Not much to add yet. So far, I kind of wish we were back at the Battle Royal.
Oh no, yeah. Like I said, this show starts out slow. These first three matches are a mixed bag at best. Jacob, any thoughts on this before we get to something better?
It's not great.
But there's a bright spot because the next one is where the show starts to pick up, and not that we're having 5-star classics, but where it starts to actually get fun and entertaining because a match Jacob was very much looking forward to, and I as well. Oddly enough, a manager match between Paulie Dangerously and Jim Cornette in a tuxedo match. But this was fun. It was intense. These guys beat the hell out of each other. It was 6 minutes. It wasn't too long. The idea. It was weird because it was almost like a bra and panties match where he had to strip off the other guy's tuxedo instead of get out of the bra and panties thing. So that was odd, but at the same time, it made for there wasn't really any like DQs, so they like brawled a lot, and they're like choking each other with their like bow ties, and they're brawling outside the ring a little bit, and like Cornette knows psychology, like say what you know, but he knows how to sell. He sells his leg really well. He's got like a knee injury coming into this thing. Heyman Cornette had to clearly tell him, because I've heard the behind the scenes of this one. Heyman kept going for the wrong knee, and Cornette had to tell him, no, other knee, like hit me in the other one, because he kept going for the one. It was supposed to be Cornette's left knee, and he kept going for the right one. But yeah, he worked over his knee for a little while, and like Cornette and the Midnight Express were in their weird babyface phase, when they're usually heels. But like Cornette's got fire. He knows psychology. He knew to keep it short and keep it really basic, but I thought Paulie had some good fire as well, like when he was actually like beating on Cornette. And I thought this was fun for what it was. Yeah, and it didn't go on too long. So what'd you guys think about this one? It was pretty fun.
I thought it was good. I had fun with it, but I feel like Jim Cornette today would hate this match. He would not like this match. I just think the Jim Cornette of today would have some opinions on this match. But then again, I mean, people change. Jim Cornette's changed. But that doesn't take away from the fact that in 1989, this was a lot of fun. And had I been able to watch this live, I would have been like geeking out with my dad, like, oh, look at this. This is so much fun. Look at him. He's in his underwear running away.
Yeah.
That's Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say what another thing that Jim Cornette does well, and it reminds me, like he can work punches really well. Those punches are good.
You know where he gets that from? Bobby Eaton is the guy he manages. Bobby Eaton has amazing punches when he works. His punches are some of the best in the business. So Bobby Eaton probably taught him how to throw a great punch, because he has some of the best. So yeah.
I do like that comedy thing. It's so fun. It's not just in wrestling, but it's like when someone gets stripped down to their undies and they still have to. They're still like trying to cover themselves up, like trying to act modest. I'm like, dude, you're not showing your ass. He's like, runs away. It's like, oh
yeah. Or they're wearing the embarrassing underwear, but if you knew you were going to have this match, why wear the embarrassing underwear?
He was so confident
that
he wasn't going to have to show it.
Yeah. Wear a pair of black generic boxer briefs or something. You know what I mean? Don't wear like the Speedo underwears that they always wear.
Right, Dipio, you've been in a tuxedo match before, right?
Have you?
Dude, I've talked about it with a couple different people. It's on my bucket list, like legit, like to do a tuxedo match. I even talked about it literally in the last year with another guy named Chris, who was like the next general manager. I'm like, we gotta do a tuxedo match.
Just do the same match they did here, and it probably
and honestly, this match is perfect as far as what it's trying to be. You know what I mean? Yes. It's a little sloppy, but it should be. They're not professionals.
They're
managers that are fighting, and it looks kind of legit that they're fighting. You know what I mean? It's doesn't overwear its welcome. It's entertaining enough. Yeah, this is what it kind of more or less should be. And in general, two of my personal favorites. Cornette sometimes is ignorant, sometimes he's fucking spot on. But he's great in this,
Yeah. No, I mean, they're throwing kind of sloppy, stiffish punches, but they should, because they're managers.
They should be. Exactly.
Half the time when Paulie is like attacking his leg, he's just on his hands and knees, like clubbing his leg, which is what he should do. He shouldn't be doing complicated submissions and all these moves, like just stomping.
Yeah, no, like
and with the phone, I was like, how much did that actually hurt when he got
probably? Yeah, I mean,
no, the occasional match I had, we tried to use the same logic of like, no, I'm not just gonna bust out a fucking figure four. You know what I mean? Right. I'm gonna be sloppy and just
Yeah, they're using any of their.
Huh?
But could you if you wanted to?
Oh, I could outdo Malenko any day,
But yeah, it felt like a 5 or 6 minute fight, and it felt like there was some heat there. Like you could feel the heat between the two. They didn't like each other, and I think it worked. It was successful, I will say. Yeah, no, did they have a 5-star classic? No, they didn't need to. But you can feel a good fight for 5 or 6 minutes that the crowd was into, and I thought it was good.
It was certainly better than Gerald Briscoe and Pat Patterson evening gown match from King.
Way better than that. way better. Yes. So we had a match that also didn't last very long, but was kind of fun while it lasted, and was another one that felt like a fight. We had the Varsity Club of Mike Rotunda and Kevin Sullivan versus the Steiners in a Texas Tornado match that felt like, I don't know if it was no DQ, but it sure felt like that, especially with every Kevin Sullivan match where he just starts throwing stuff all over the place. But yeah, this was Basically just a 5-minute kind of wild brawl, but very, very stiff, very fun. Like I said, Kevin Sullivan's throwing chairs around. He's hitting people with the announce table, just throwing it all over the place against Rick Steiner. Scott Steiner suplexing people a couple of times. It's like there's two different matches going on because Scott Steiner and Mike Rotundo are in the ring trying to do like a match, while Kevin Sullivan and Rick Steiner on the outside just
beating the shit out of each
each other, throwing each other in the guardrails and throwing each other
It's hard to
turnbuckles and
follow
hitting
it.
each other with stuff. A little hard to follow, but it felt like, again, there was heat here, like there was an intensity where I think they were feuding at the time. And like, I don't mind if like you have two teams that like just start going at it because they don't like each other. So like, I thought it was perfect, for what it is. Like, these guys don't need to have a 20-minute drawn out match if that's not what they are, or what they're trying to do. So yeah, I liked it, but what'd you guys think? So
Here we go.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's always hard when there's three of us. I don't want to step on anyone.
Okay.
No, I mean, yeah, like you could argue, like, yeah, oh damn, we gotta feel like it could have gone to that next level if it went longer, but not everything needs to be long. And this was good too. And I don't know if I've ever seen this early of a Scott Steiner match. I've never seen him in that kind of gear. I'm used to him wearing more what Rick was wearing, later on. So interesting seeing that, and it's always good seeing kind of a tougher Mike Rotunda too, from what he would be in a few years.
Yeah, Richard.
Yeah, it was good to see that side of like Mike Rotunda because I've never been a fan of him as IRS. I like the gimmick is like alright, but like I don't know. Just I wasn't a fan of his like wrestling, but I don't know. I thought he was alright here, and I thought the match was good. A good fight. That's all I could say. That was a solid match. But yeah, I wish it kind of went a bit longer. But what can you do?
Yeah, Jacob. Any quick thoughts?
It wasn't long enough. I wanted more, and I was just looking up to see if maybe they had something at the next pay-per-view. But the next pay-per-view is Halloween Havoc, which is obviously in October. So this is July to October.
There's a Clash of the Champions in between as well.
Okay, so maybe maybe that was a TV special or something. Yeah, because this is just pay-per-view. So maybe Clash of the Champions or whatever had something to, because at the next pay-per-view the Steiners would go on to face Doom, and then the what are they called? They're not even on the card. So, but the Skyscrapers are taking on the Road Warriors. I might have to watch Halloween Havoc. Get more Sid and Spivey. But yeah, this one, I wanted more. Like you said, it was like 5 minutes. But it felt like 2.5 because they were just going and going like from the bell, and so yeah, I wanted more. And hopefully there is more out there that I can find of these two teams going at it, because this felt like a nice appetizer for something better that they could do together.
Yeah, for sure. I think they had other matches out there you could probably track down, I'm sure. But yeah, and this is where the show kind of got to its famous stuff that everybody kind of points to as being really good. Maybe other than a couple of finishes we'll talk about, but we had Sting versus the Great Muta, who just stopped wrestling. Two guys who are still kind of pseudo-active, 35 years later. The Great Muta literally just having his kind of retirement match
against Sting.
Not long ago. And Sting, who we just talked about, is still on pay-per-view and still working at 62 or 63. So it's kind of a fascinating, time capsule here, back when these guys were much younger, obviously. But yeah, this is it's literally it's like an 8-minute match, but it's some of the wildest 8 minutes you'll see. Again, they kind of play as Sting as the young up and comer guy who's really popular, and Great Muta is this kind of unknown force, but he's a complete wild man maniac in this match, and it's kind of great, doing a lot of stuff that the crowd hasn't seen before. I don't think, he's hopping up and doing moonsaults, he's doing insecurities, he's doing, all this kind of wild stuff. It starts out hot with Sting jumping from one ring to the other, and doing a big, sort of shoulder block thing across, again, using the two rings, which is fun. Yeah, it's really, really good. It just has kind of a lame finish with like this sort of double shoulders down suplex kind of finish, and Muto runs off with the belt. Yeah, clearly just a thing to propel him into the next match. But other than that, yeah, this is a really wild 8 minutes. It's a lot of fun. But what do you guys think, Jacob? We'll start with you. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. The action was good. The finish, it's one of those things where if you're going back like retroactively and watching a show and not knowing like what the buildup was going into it, and then what the follow up was, it's like, oh, okay. So that kind of does, but it does make me want to go see like, hey, what happens next? So I do want to do that, but yeah, the action, and I want to see did the finish make sense? Did the finish propel into something good? So I thought it was a good match. Very very nice middle of the show. I think it kind of woke the crowd up because Sting can do that. And great movie. Like these are two of the best in-ring performers, I think. So yeah, very solid match. They made the most of their 8-9 minutes, however long it was. Yeah. So
yeah, JPO.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, definitely. I'm with you guys. Again, only thing is I could have gone a little bit longer, and I definitely could have done with a little bit better ending to really just lock this in as a banger. Otherwise, yeah, no, really, really good stuff here. Might have not surpassed the expectations of the two names on paper here. So yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, Richard.
Yeah, this is like the earliest Muda match I've seen. Yeah, I was impressed. I think he's obviously legend for a reason, and yeah, they had good chemistry, in-ring chemistry, and yeah, the finish that I'll be just like there's a few like finishes we'll get to, but it's like there wasn't really like a lot of for a pay-per-view. I mean I expect some few subs to continue, but there was a lot of like there wasn't from near here on there was a lot of like dusty finishes sort of thing, like a lot of like not definitive finishes where I'm like, oh, okay, they're doing this to prolong the feud, or I'm like sometimes I just like you want a feud to have like kind of a clean, you can still prolong the feud, but there wasn't kind of they're all of these like endings were like almost like questionable. Or it's like okay, there's like aspects to that aspects of that finish, so that kind of frustrated me a little bit. But overall, overall though, I enjoyed the match except for the finish. But yeah, it could have gone a bit longer. But yeah, I was entertained by what I watched. So
yeah, for sure. But yeah, good stuff overall there. We move into another good match with a kind of wonky finish, but we'll talk about it. But kind of made sense for what they set up at the beginning. We had a U.S. title match with Lex Luger taking on Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Again, this is a pretty nonstop action 10-11 minute match here. A little bit shorter than what you think, but maybe with Lex Luger involved, you want to just keep it moving. But yeah, Ricky Steamboat, the crowd favorite here. Lex Luger finally went heel after I think the previous year he was a babyface, and then he finally went heel. I think he makes for a better heel, especially in a match like this. Steamboat had a really great entrance where they were kind of carrying him out, holding like a iguana or something, some kind of lizard, which was cool.
Was it a Komodo?
Maybe. I thought Komodo dragons were poisonous, so I think that would be dangerous.
So are snakes, but they figured out a way to get.
Yeah,
maybe they were able to do something with it.
Yeah, he had something like that. Lex Luger in his entrance was supposed to be on a spinning little thing as he posed, but it stopped working halfway through, and he just had to turn himself and pose a little bit and then keep walking. That was a little funny. He was clearly frustrated with that. He was just like, "Oh, come on, you guys couldn't get a working, spinning thing." But yeah, there's a setup in this where it was supposed to be a no DQ match, but Lex Luger refuses to wrestle unless they waive that and just make it a straight, regular rules match. Ricky agrees to it, and that kind of plays into the finish where Ricky gets a little frustrated. Lex Luger brings a chair into the ring, and Ricky takes it and whacks him with it and gets disqualified. So Lex Luger keeps his title. So yeah, and again, another kind of dusty-ish finish. But it's a really good match. Other than that, one of the better Lex Luger matches I've seen. He always had good chemistry with guys like Steamboat or Flair who could really carry him and make him look like a big, threat, but kind of play to his strengths. So yeah, I thought this is still a pretty successful match overall. But I don't know, Richie, what do you think? I'll go to you first. No, sorry, JPO. We'll go to you first.
I'm also Popeye. No, man, this is kind of one of those matches. You're like, oh shit, this is why people thought Luger could be the next big thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
He feels
absolutely.
like a star.
Yeah, he comes off as a star. You know, I don't love the finish here, but that seems to be pretty on par with kind of 80s, 90s WCW and NWA. But I like this one maybe even less just because I thought it fit the storyline and whatnot. So I didn't mind this too much. I just wish they hadn't done it kind of back to back with matches that I thought really could be. It holds me back from being like, yeah, hell yeah, 5 stars. You know, when it's like one perfect ending to a degree. But yeah, everything was good here, man. Steamboat, you know, again, probably big part of the reason why this works as well. But like I said, I think Luger holds his own. So,
yeah, Jacob.
Yeah, I don't like the, you know, back-to-back finishes like this, but as far as like
too much. I get once, but too much.
Yeah, it was just as far as the in-ring action itself. Yeah, it was really good. It was solid. I've never been a fan of Lex Luger's promos either, but I think the promo he cut before the match was actually pretty decent. You know, talking about no one's going to tell me how to defend my title, and I thought you know he was well spoken, and I was pleasantly surprised at the promo. Yeah, the finish with the chair, I think it makes sense. Especially you know given the fact that it was supposed to be no DQ, now it's not, and you know Luger introduces it. I did find it a little weird that you know Ricky Steamboat, who I'm pretty sure has never been a heel, just throws the referee out of the ring with the chair. He's like, yeah, but I can understand his frustration. It's not a completely like heel thing to do, but like just was just weird seeing him throw a referee around.
Yeah, I mean, Luger did have a good like you know in-ring promo, but like the promo he cut backstage, it was funny. He flubbed his line, and Gordon Solly had to clarify like what he was meaning to say. It's like, oh, so you mean this is what it's like he just had to cover for him. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, no, I thought this match was pretty good. Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Luger. Actually, I was like, I was surprised how much I liked him when I went back to watch Nitro. I'm like, how he's just got that sort of likability about it, and yeah, I thought he was really good as a heel here. Yeah, I could tell like maybe JR was very unsettled about that what it was, Komodo Dragon Lizard or whatever. You could tell he was just like, oh, what the hell? But yeah. Yeah, no, but it was a cool entrance. Ricky Steamboat as legend, and yeah, he carried this match really well. But yeah, the finish was a bit weird, but I guess it did play into the story. But yeah, wasn't an overly huge fan again because obviously it's to parlay that into future pay-per-views. But it's like sometimes it's good to have just like a definitive end, but yeah, and again 2 in a row. But like, other than that, it's a decent match, and yeah, like I don't think at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I don't think Luger is as bad as people say that he was. I think there's far worse workers out there. So yeah,
it always kind of depended on who he was working, but if he was working somebody that was really good, that could kind of again carry him and play to his strengths, I think he's all right. His match with Flair the year before for the title is really good as well. Like he's good, obviously in there with Flair. He had a good match here and there with Wyndham. Like depending on who he's in there with, he could have a really good match. Especially,
he should be in the Hall of Fame already. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah, I'd be interested to because I brought up Halloween Havoc. He has a nearly 17-minute match with Brian Pillman. So I'd be interested to check that out.
But if you want to see another good legal match, look up the year before. I don't know if it was Bash 88. It might have been Bash 88. I can't remember. But he has a match with Flair that's actually really good as well. So, yeah, he had a good early career. People knew how to work with him. So, but yeah, we had a match then that usually would type of match that usually would close a show, but not on this one. But yeah, we go into War Games with the 2 rings.
Excuse me, the War Games?
The War Games.
The War Games.
The War Games. Submit or Surrender. War Games. As we get the team of the Midnight Express, Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, and Dr. Death, Steve Williams, kind of the face team, along with both of their managers, Paul Ellering and Jim Cornette out there, taking on all 3 of the fabulous Freebirds, Jimmy Garvin, Michael Hayes, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, and the Samoan SWAT team of Samu and Fatu. Fatu, you would know as Rikishi, when he's about 200 pounds less than what he would be as Rikishi.
The most over guy in the Attitude Era who didn't hold a world champion.
Yeah, who didn't hold a world title.
I think that's D'Lo Brown. He had a good head shake.
Yeah, he had a good head shake.
Well, according to this show, it's Chris Benoit.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, the Samoan SWAT team, and yeah, they have Paulie Dangerously is back out there with them. Yeah, they did the War Games thing as you should do in this matchup, having the heels get the advantage, winning the coin toss per se that we never see. It's always kind of the thing off screen, but it always works for the match because you want the heels to have that advantage and have the baby faces make the comeback. That's a good War Games. Just little things I like about this, even before they started. I just like the fact that, that you had good managers back then who knew how to be good managers. You had Paul Ellering and Jim Cornette like sharing notes, like conferring with each other and their teams. Like little things that if anybody's watching them, they're still in character doing their thing. Paul Heyman on his phone, his giant phone the entire time, being like, I made the phone calls. I made the deals. Like, we got it in the bag. Like, like little things I liked about that. They played into Michael Hayes not wanting to get into the War Games at all, kind of being the cowardly leader of the group, and he enters in last. So that was good. Each team kind of had their cleanup, sort of monster guys. The Freebirds had Terry Gordy, it was a big dude, and the Samoan SWAT team were kind of the sort of wild card brawling guys. And then obviously on the other side, you had Road Warriors, Dr. Death, who, my God, you forget how over the Road Warriors are, because Jesus Christ was Animal and Hawk over as hell in this match. Like both of them, like super, super over. Hawk was really over. But yeah, you put the right two guys in there to start with Jimmy Garvin and Bobby Eaton. Bobby Eaton's a great worker, great wrestler. Jimmy Garvin was too, and have them kind of go the distance. But I think it was laid out very well. Yeah, not the greatest War Games match of all time, or anything like that, but I thought it was really, really good. They kept it, again, feeling like a fight, feeling like a true kind of brawl. A lot of clotheslines tonight. If you like clotheslines, watch the Great American Bash '89, because my God, was every other clothesline, crossbody, clothesline. A lot of clotheslines. Yeah, not the most innovative, offense you've ever seen in your life, but it was fun. The crowd is super into everybody who was in this match. Yeah, they did what they could, and in the end, Hawk got Jimmy Garvin in kind of he cranked his neck, like while he had him on the back of his, on his back, kind of hoisted him, but cranked on his neck, and he submitted, and that's kind of how it ended. But I really liked it overall. I thought it was a lot of fun. It moved along pretty well. It was never boring. But yeah, Jacob, what did you think of an old school War Games here as opposed to like an NXT War Games?
Yeah, no, I liked it. Yeah, it was just hard hitting action from start to finish. And yeah, the managers all played their role. You even had Paul Heyman trying to stick his phone in.
Yeah, trying to shove his phone into
it wasn't working, and they were walking around the ring. Yeah, crowd was super into it, like especially once the Road Warriors got in there. My only complaint is that I don't like how small the cage is.
Oh, it's very like most of the guys were only about a foot or two away from hitting their heads on it, but it made for some cool spots. There was a spot where Dr. Death, it was pretty impressive. He took up Bam Bam Gordy, who's not a small man. He's probably 300 pounds, and was like pressing him up into the cage over and over again, like 10 times. I'm like, that dude's strong as hell. He's a big, scary, strong guy. And that was a cool, even though it didn't look like it was painful or anything, it was a very cool spot that the crowd got into. Like,
I like that spot.
But then you have the scary thing. What was it? Isn't next year in a year or two, Sid fucking powerbombing Pillman?
Oh, because he can't get him all the way up and then just drops him on his head. Yeah, that's
that cage link did kind of backfire sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean, and then because you also had the Road Warriors who they have a top rope finisher,
right?
But they don't get to execute that because not only can you not get the guy up on your shoulders because the cage is too small. When you see them, they're hunched over when they're on the top rope.
Right.
Most of the time.
It reminds me of like indie shows that you go to sometimes where that I've been to that where the ceiling's too low. So it's
we had that with the Do you guys remember the Gemini, in WWE, the Shane twins? I was at a show where even though they were using a lowered ring because at Pro Wrestling Riot, if I don't know if JP ever went to any Riot shows.
Go
but
to no, I know what you mean.
yeah, but the Gemini had a really small guy, and it was kind of a smaller building, but they had one of those lowered rings that was like almost on the ground. They gorilla pressed this guy, and he went up into the drywall on the ceiling and broke one of the lights and the thing. It's a cool looking spot when you see it on camera because like everybody was like, "Oh, holy shit!" He broke the ceiling, but also not good for the people who own the building because they had to replace part of the ceiling and the drywall. But yeah, I've been to venues where we've had that problem as well, or you have to tell the guys, "Hey, if you're gonna go to the top rope, don't hit your head on the ceiling when you jump off, please. Jump more out than up." But yeah, it can be a problem.
My last thing about the match was it's actually after the aftermath where they keep was it Hawk or Animal that they kept one of them, I don't remember which one, but they keep him in the ring, and the other four guys are out obviously trying to get back in while the Samoans are holding the. It's 2 against 4. Why would you try to climb the cage or try to get in that way when maybe the 4 of you, which includes one of the strongest guys in the company, could just open the door?
Yeah.
And outstrength these, two guys. Like, don't be dumb. Just don't be dumb. Like, use your strength. You've got it. There's 4 of you, and there's 2 of them holding the door. And it's like, then once they get in, they run to the other ring and they just get in. Like, what happened after that? Like
there was 2 doors. There's one door.
There were 2 doors on the other side. That's
there's a door for the because each cage was a separate cage. Technically, that they just I think took the middle part out of. But yeah, they had a door for the baby.
They couldn't go to the other side.
They were holding. One of them was. I think the other one was locked or something. Yeah. So
okay.
I don't know.
It's like just there are multiple ways to get in the ring, including the 4 of you.
Yeah. Pulling
against these 2 guys who I'm pretty sure, Steve Williams might be stronger than both of them combined or pretty close.
Yeah. Well, Richie, what do you think?
No, I think I've told this story anyway. There was this dude. I think I saw on Botchamania once where this dude was going to top rope, but it was a small ceiling, and he hit his head on the fan, on the ceiling fan. Anything else going? And then I'm like, I didn't think anything of it, and then I was like, oh, that's pretty gnarly. And then I went to this wrestling quiz thing, and I had wrestlers there. And there was this dude at the panel. He had a big huge car there, and I'm like, he's just like, oh yeah, man, anything, and I hit my head on my fan. I'm like, wait, you were on Botchamania, and he's like, I just watched that, and so he's like, oh man, yeah, I know. I mean, I'm kind of glad I made it, but also, yeah. So it was just funny. It's just it completely just fucked the fan. It was just really funny. But in regards to this match, I like the match. I think. Also, what made the match, and he makes a lot of matches, but JR was really good in this match. He was great. Yeah. It was just putting over how crazy and the chaos of the match. And I thought it was really good. Not the best War Games match, but still a solid match and told a lot of cool stories. And again probably the story of the pay-per-view. I wish it maybe been a little bit longer, but it's still fun.
Yeah, because once everybody got in there, it only lasted 2 or 3 minutes before Hawk submitted Garvin. But yeah, it was still, when they're not doing a lot of coordinated spots like they do nowadays, there's only so many clotheslines you can throw before it's like, let's just wrap this thing up, But yeah, JPO, any thoughts on War Games here?
No, hell yeah. This is the oldest War Games I've watched. I've always liked the concept.
War Games 87 is supposed to be the best one, I think.
Is it?
Overall? Yeah.
And I'll watch it after watching this one.
Yeah.
Because I'll even argue I kind of like the lower cage because unlike the new War Games where it's very much let's get tables, let's jump off the top rope. I like this because it's just a fucking fight, man. You know what I mean? It's just it's a big brawly dudes brawling, and so I dug it here. So I like this one a lot actually.
Yeah, no, the older ones are all a lot like that. I think the Road Warriors had another one, they were involved in the first one. Even JR mentioned it in '87, and it's very similar. They would go on to do a couple other ones that were usually pretty good. Where it got bad was when they started doing them in the the mid to late 90s with like Hogan and Piper and like some of those guys were
The
just
last
good.
one, well, there's
Yeah.
also like one randomly on television too. That's the last one.
Yeah.
One before that, last one on pay-per-view, I think they did like 3 teams.
Yeah,
but for a title shot.
Well,
So it was like, what?
Yeah.
Wasn't there one where like there was like I don't know if it was War Games, it was a trapdoor that Warrior was supposed to come through.
Yeah, no. And then that's what fucked up Bulldog. Yeah.
And yeah, that fucked up the British Bulldogs back because but you're in War Games. Why not just do if you knew there was if like people knew ahead of time that there's going to be a trapdoor in the ring, just wrestle in the other ring. Anyway,
Just don't do a trap door. Make that shit more protected. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's one of the worst ones. Yeah, the one with Warrior. Even though he's in it for like 2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this I just pulled up a couple of lists, and each one has number one. Yeah, Bash, Great American Bash '87. It's a War Games match. I think it's the first one. Yeah, it's Road Warriors.
I used to have a Blu-ray set. There's a Blu-ray set that had like all of them.
Yeah, it's Road Warriors, Nikita Koloff, Dusty Rhodes, and Paul Ellering, the actual manager, versus the Four Horsemen. Yeah, Flair, Anderson, Lex Luger, Tully Blanchard, and J.J. Dillon. So even the managers were on that one. But yeah, it's supposed to be because that was a hot feud at the time too. The Four Horsemen kind of feuding with everybody, Dusty and all those guys. So yeah, that's a hot one. Yeah, so if you like these old school, more fightish, War Games, brawling and fighting, I think you like that too, JP. So
and Paul Ellering and JJ Dillon started the match off.
I've refereed. I can say I've refereed a War Games match with JJ Dillon. I did a vintage.
Hey.
Yeah, they did a War Games match, and JJ was in attendance, and he managed the babyface team. So I thought it was pretty cool. So I've actually, and I was the guy actually opening the door to let everybody in. So that was a lot of fun being part of that. So I was the Tommy Young in this match. So yeah, and then we had our main event for the heavyweight title, a feud that if you have not dug into this feud, every match these guys had was great back then. Yeah, Ric Flair versus Terry Funk. This was my favorite match of theirs is when they have at Clash of the Champions a few months later. They have an I Quit match that I think is even better, but this match is pretty great. It's Flair and Funk, who even though Terry Funk at the time was 45 years old, Flair was 40, and then we consider this like young Funk and young Flair. They were still kind of approaching middle age essentially. But yeah, Flair has a great entrance here with a bunch of pyro. He's got 4 ladies on his side with him. He feels like a star. I just loved all their matches because it felt like a fight with some wrestling in between. Felt like Flair was always kind of fighting for his life with this wild man, Terry Funk, who would do damn near anything to beat him. He uses a branding iron at one point, busts open Flair. Flair gets a hold of it, hits Funk with it. They're both bleeding, near the end of this match. And then they kind of trade some small packages, and Flair gets the win in the end. But this is an awesome match. I like all their matches these guys have, but this match is really, really good. And crowd's super into it. Crowd's super into Flair. But yeah, what'd you guys think of this one, Richie? What did you think?
Yeah, no, I thought it was really good. Yeah, again, felt like a fight because reportedly maybe these guys weren't the best of friends. They probably didn't like each other, and you could tell. And but it was a really good match. Yeah, it had a lot of good. They built tension really well, and built the drama a lot. Like the spot with the pile driver. I thought that was really good, and it felt really akin to maybe like an Attitude Era street fight, just with the drama and stuff. Like especially when he went for the. He was teasing going to pile drive him on the floor. And that was really good. I did like how after the match ended, it was like JR and the other, I can't remember what was the other commentator again.
Bob Caudle.
Bob Caudle. Yeah, they're trying to wrap up the show. Then they keep brawling. It's like
Muda comes out and miss Flair in the face, and they start beating on Flair. So then Sting comes out and starts brawling with it, and they brawl for like 10 minutes. Yeah.
And then it comes down again. It's like, okay, I think we're out. And
they start brawling again. No, it felt like it had some heat. Crowd was into it. So as long as the crowd's into it, hey, keep it going, man. Crowd was hot, and it did actually lead to a tag team match. So it actually led to something at the next Clash of Champions. So they actually led to a tag team match, so it made sense. But yeah, JPO, what do you think of this main event here?
No, this was some good stuff, man. I believe it's the first I've seen of these two. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even necessarily remember that they feuded. So yeah, no, walked into it. I really enjoyed it. It's tough to follow that War Games, but I can see why they did it this way because they do it, man. It's a great one-on-one contest here. It's one of the better finishes even of the night. I like the simple finish after all that went down. And yeah, and another good thing too, I'll say on top of that, all that too is this show did a good job of making you kind of want to almost like see what's next for all these guys. It leaves you wanting more, which is good.
Yeah. Jacob.
Yeah, once the match actually got started and got going, I really enjoyed it. I wasn't a fan of all the stuff with Funk outside the ring before. I'm not sure if that was just his character at the time. I don't know if he was one who was just like, I'm gonna go in the crowd and get angry and I'm gonna try to hit
That's just he
people
would
and
always
chase
throw a
people.
fit and throw shit around. Yeah, it's kind of his character at the time. He was just very
No, well, yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
not a fan. Not a fan. Maybe at the time, who knows? Maybe I would have been, but yeah, not a fan of that. I wasn't a fan of the referee in the match for the most part. I feel like he was grabbing the wrestlers just a little too much. But as far as the action between Flair and Funk, yeah, this was great. And then the brawl afterwards, like you don't get brawls like that very much anymore. So you still get brawls, you still get good ones every once in a while, but yeah, that was a good one, and I thought that was a cool way to end the show.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I could definitely recommend if you want to see these guys have an even better match and a legit Meltzer five star match. Go watch Flair Funk I Quit match from Clash of the Champions November of '89. Really, really good. That's my favorite out of there. It's like those guys. That match, they legitimately beat the shit out of each other in that match. Like chops, punches. They're using stuff around the ring. I mean, it feels like a wild, wild fight. Like it's really, really good. So yeah, and you get a lot of Funk on the microphone going, "Come on, you scum sucker, Ric Flair, give up! Come on, give up!" Like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So,
sucking though.
yeah, yeah, it's really, really good. So I could definitely recommend that match. But yeah, overall, yeah, let's score this thing out of 10. What would you guys give it overall as a show, Jacob? What do you think? So
Uh,
if you had to score it.
yeah, the second half was definitely a lot better than the first half. I think they really ramped it up once. I'd say even after the Steiner tag match. I think from there on, it was pretty good. A couple of finishes, um, you know, fine. But overall, really good show. I don't know if I can quite get it. No, I'll go like a 7.75. I don't know if I can quite get it to an 8, just because of some of the finishes and those first few matches. But yeah, no, really good. Like if we were just scoring the second half, 9 out of 10. But that first half, unfortunately, just drags it down just a little bit.
All right, JPO, what would you give this one if you had to overall?
Damn, I'm flip flopping between a couple different scores here because there is a couple of mad things to begin with, but damn, when it gets good, it gets really good. So I'm right around that 7.5 area. So I'll just go ahead and say it, and I'll even say an 8 because I do feel like and those finishes. I'll say 7.5. If the other ones had better finishes, I think this would be in the 8-9 territory. But the finishes hold it back just a little bit for me here. But the last two really deliver, so it's still definitely a slightly gaudier way to watch a pay per view.
Yeah, Richie.
Yeah, I think we're speaking the same language here. I'm around 7.58 as well. I think the second half's definitely better than the first half, and then I think the finishes of the second half kind of, apart from the main event, kind of just were down a little bit. However, it's not. It doesn't take away from the show that much, but I'll give it an 8. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might be the highest of all. I give this like a 9 out of 10. I fucking love this show. I think this show's great, and especially even those early 2 or 3 matches, I still think there's things to talk about. It's interesting, but when it gets going, like I said, I think from the Cornette Heyman match on, I think this show is like super entertaining. There's some really good stuff in every match, and when you have a show where at least 3 of the matches I would say are above like 4 stars for me, that's pretty damn good, especially for a show from like 1989. You didn't have that a lot. Maybe you get like that Flair match that was really good, but everything else is kind of But I think Sting Muta match is awesome. I think the Luger Steamboat match is awesome. War Games is a ton of fun, and Flair Funk is always good, and it's great. And I think when you have that much quality in a row. And even like I said, the Cornette match is really entertaining. The Steiner thing is fun, for as long as it lasts. It's a hell of an old school show. Like if you had to show somebody like, an 80s show, I think you start with like the Cornette thing just to get it going, or whatever, or even the Sting Muda thing, just throw them those 4 matches in a row. But you go like, hey, wrestling can be really fun, like old school stuff when the crowd's like super into it. You got good characters and good personalities, and I was happy with my pick. I remember the show being really good, and I'm glad it was. So, yeah.
I forgot a part of the opening match that I thought was funny. Not the opening match, the second match where the crowd kept chanting to Teddy Long Peanut Head. That was funny.
Peanut Head, yeah, they used to call him Peanut Head a lot. Him and his Burger King crown. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, this was a good show. I'm glad you chose a good show this time. We'll see what you choose next time. Should you win the Forbidden Door?
Maybe I'll choose another good WCW. Maybe I'll go like mid 96, 97 WCW or something like that. Kind of when they were kind of starting to really rock. Something like that. We'll see. I'll decide.
But before we get there, we gotta get to my pick. I finally get to choose a topic. Not that I haven't chosen topics before, but this one they couldn't say no to. Next week there are no rules. We are creating dream cards of anyone who is currently active.
Technically, there is rules. They have to be currently active.
But then after that, there are no rules.
Okay. Yeah.
It is up to you to determine who is active, and is John Cena active? Is Ric Flair active? He shouldn't be. He shouldn't still be active. So forget Ric Flair. He's not included. But yeah, no. Any promotion. Maybe we include some of those MLW guys that we were introduced to last week. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the cards. Again, it is a 2-night event. I want you guys to create 7 matches each. But you've got 7 days to create it. So
7 matches each night.
7 matches each night. You don't have to include a pre-show if you don't want to. JPO, you can include a pre-show if you want to. But it's not a requirement. Just the 2-night thing. We'll do that next week. We'll do Money in the Bank predictions. Probably if we don't talk about it Monday, maybe we'll talk Forbidden Door. Maybe we'll just do a whole Forbidden Door Money in the Bank review the following week because we don't have anything planned for then anyway. But we'll talk both of those shows in the near future and see who won the predictions. Get more topics on. We've got a lot coming up. We've also got a lot coming up in just other areas as well. More tournament fights, tier ranker tournament fights tomorrow. I believe it's the 2011 championship. Is that correct, Austin?
That is correct. So it'll be a half bracket tomorrow night.
Half bracket tomorrow night.
Yep.
JPO, you got some like trivia things. It's been trivia week.
It has been trivia.
How does trivia week end tomorrow?
Tomorrow we got picks and lists, the return of picks and lists over on the Pierce Code channel. And then I'm doing that right before I pop right back on this channel because I will be on that panel for tournament fights. But then the week's not over yet because Twibbit is Saturday at 8. And actually, we're bringing back Jeopardy for Wrestling as well right before that over at the Pierce Wrestling channel.
Nice.
And then we're doing Twibbit after that, which is a fun 6-person 3-on-3 clips, audio. We do quotes. That one's a really fun game as well.
Have you ever considered modifying Twibbit for wrestling? I'm not sure how it could be done.
Quotes would be hard. Clips is really hard. I don't know. Maybe. I know Cass wants to return a picks and lists for wrestling. But that's just because he's crazy and can name all the European champions.
You don't think you could do quotes from famous? We can talk about it.
I tried once just in general, and I feel like a lot of them were either A, too obvious, or B, too obscure. I had a hard time finding a middle ground for quotes. Yeah. Where it was just like, I don't know, everyone says I'm coming to get you Sunday in a cage, or it was like, very specific about their family, and it was like, oh, no, yeah, that's
Who's that?
Yeah,
guy?
yeah, you know
a
what I mean?
very
Yeah.
specific catchphrase from a character that was very.
That's what I mean. I'd have to like
Yeah.
maybe you could edit around it. Maybe like I do with plot
Yeah.
sometimes. Take out
Well,
character
if you
names.
showed a clip, you could show a clip of a match and ask what event it was from or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
then you got to make sure the entrance is not in the way. I'm saying it's
Yeah,
doable, but you really got to be specific and find certain things.
Not as easy as to for movies.
Right? Yeah, you can find an obscure clip in a movie where you're like, oh shit, that's right. Which movie is that? Cameos a lot of times as well, do for clips. It's like, oh, yeah.
Is it a deleted scene from Alien?
Yeah. Which, by the way, I probably need to back out of that so we can do our watch along on Sunday night of Forbidden Door.
Good. Oh wait, Forbidden Door. Never mind. I say back outs I can play, but wait, if it's because Forbidden Door,
no. Well, JB3 backed out. We had too many people. I'll let him jump back in because he was going to co-host. So I'll let him jump back in. I might back out of that. So we have enough players, and because we used my purchase of Forbidden Door to watch along once I joined the stream last time. So yeah, and we just shared my screen. But
yeah. Somebody who's probably participated in Trivia Week. Richie, you got anything else going on in the near future?
Yeah. If I'm lucky enough to be selected for more other trivia things on Trivia Week, I'll be there. But I've participated in a couple of thons. So yeah, you can find me there. Tournament 5 tier ranker. I'll be out there a few times. Tell them that stream I've taken a bit of a break, but we'll be back soon. In the episode we'll be back with. We'll be chopping more. We'll let you know when that drops. And yeah, Combat Wrestling Trivia. I'll be back on there soon. Got a match come out. So debates got a match come out soon as well on Battleground. So check that out. And yeah.
Austin?
I'll just let you know what's going on the Movie Hero Network, kind of as the co-host over there. Yeah, there will be Seen and Heard trivia on Sunday night. I may or may not be a part of that. I'll probably just jump out of that and let JP3 be a part of that. But Richie might be a part of that. You can play. You can play against the movie geek Mark Edward Hoyk, and you can play against Ryan Purvis. So that'll be fun. I've already played Mark. I beat him already, so that's fine. I'll drop out. Let somebody else try to beat him. That'll be on Sunday night. Star Wars character tournament on Monday night. Wednesday night, Wheel of Movies, right before Indiana Jones comes out. Richard, we're going to talk some Last Crusade. You got to watch Last Crusade, polish off that trilogy. So I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts about that. That's my favorite of the series, so that'll be fun. And then Friday night, Jacob will be running the tier ranker for our animated championship, which I know he's going to be in tears by the end of what movies don't make it into that top 10.
My only disappointment is that we didn't wait until Across the Spider-Verse came out to do the.
Oh, right.
Too soon. Well, I love you, but I think you're too high on that. Too soon. Let that shit settle.
You've only seen it once, okay? I know.
Exactly, because it's not
to be in let me talk. Not to be in the top 10, but just to be included because we did, the 2017 to now. So if we had waited to do that, then it could have been included, and I could have talked about it more because that's what I want to do. I don't want to. If it's not
about it enough,
fine. I have not. I've only talked about it like twice.
Well, I was waiting for you to do a review on my channel, but you just never got back to me, though.
You actually never got back to me. You saw the movie after me.
Oh,
I was waiting for you.
You guys should get married.
Yeah, I know. You fight like
you're gonna win. If he wins the best friend tournament 3 years in a row, we might have to.
But anyways, I will remind Jacob Barber next Friday night to take his blood pressure medication so he doesn't have a heart attack on the show. Trying to decide which are the top 10 of all time out of the 60 or whatever that are included.
We got 15.
Should be interesting. That'll be fun, and then the night after that, next Saturday, we'll plug it again. But Jacob and I will be doing our halfway through the year wrap up show of our sort of half of the year in review. Talking, we don't do rankings or countdowns or anything. We'll just kind of talk about whatever movies we want to talk about from the first half of the year, some surprises, things like that. But what makes it unique is we'll also talk about our discoveries of the year so far, anything older we watched that we just want to recommend and talk about. So just kind of first time watches.
I'm guessing you're going to talk about LA Confidential.
Hell yeah, I'll talk about LA Confidential.
No
And actually,
spoilers.
well, that and a whole bunch of 70s movies that I've been really digging because I've been watching a lot of shit from the 70s. So I got some 70s recommendations for you, but I'll save those for the show.
Yeah. I did a top 10 70s movies with Aaron J.
Super generic.
I've seen 0 movies on Aaron J's list,
Right.
so I just got 10 70s recommendations.
There you go. Well, watch again next Saturday night on Podcast About Movies. I'll give you some other 70s recommendations. That's for sure.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You got 10 recommend. That means, because I know you've seen The Godfather and The Godfather 2. Were they not on his list?
They were not, and I mean, and he liked everything I had, even though mine was much more generic. I told Pez my list off air.
Yeah.
I think he also kind of purposely was going with lesser movies.
Okay.
Like he didn't. There's not a single movie I had that he didn't like to a degree.
That's fair.
But yeah, he did not have Godfather. But again, I think he was going for non-obvious things. Well, I was just going for.
Right.
I've seen these 10 and they're great.
Interesting. So yeah, that's what we got coming up. Yeah, again next week. Dream Cards, just 2 nights, 7 matches. I've also got a movie Battleground match that is up. You can see me take on Dean Lewis. It is up on the TMG Entertainment.
Hey,
This is John Mars coming soon.
Hey, I hosted that.
Hosted by.
You can also.
What's that, Richie? I hosted another one.
It uploaded the other day too. The mine versus Malcolm Blay.
Richie.
Huh?
You had your turn. It's not your turn anymore. You should have remembered it when it was your turn.
Well, I also hosted Richie Goodacre versus Malcolm Blay International Warfare over on Movie Guide because I'm determined to win Guest Host of the Year as well as Player of the Year. So yeah,
I'm coming for that comeback Player of the Year. Did that just spoil the match? Maybe. I don't know.
Actually, I might be coming for that's for the match. Maybe I don't know.
All right.
And then Combat Wrestling Trivia.
Don't got to watch either one of those matches now. Sweet.
Yeah,
good plugs, guys.
Were you going to anyway, JPO? Okay.
So what's CWT?
Yeah, CWT. I'm in the process of booking a match with Ryan Payne. So the finals of a little mini tournament. Whoever wins that gets a TV title match. I got there by beating somebody that's here.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Good night.
And it's not Richie who swore we were going to have a match.
We're going to have a match
Maybe when I'm the TV champion, I will be gracious enough to be the Orange Cassidy of a Combat Wrestling Trivia and just defend it all the time. And Richie, you can have your match.
Thank you.
So sad on it. I stand
Fuck that. I want my rematch.
We're in the same faction now.
Oh wait, yeah. We'll fight all the time. We're like the Briscoe brothers. We'll fight every once in a while.
But yeah, Combat Wrestling Trivia. You can check 3 out of the 4 of us out over there as well. Maybe we'll get Pez there sometime.
Come on, Pez.
We'll get him there because you get to choose 2 strings, so you can choose some of this older stuff that you know. We'll talk about it. Maybe we'll convince him to.
That's why Jacob and I we should team up in that tournament because you know newer shit and I know older shit.
Oh, do you still need one more team, JPO?
Yes.
Right here.
Bam, Lonely Marks. What do you guys?
Lonely Marks.
The Lonely Team.
Bam.
Lonely Marks.
That's gonna be weird. Your team Lonely Marks. And
we're the Lonely.
Yeah, well, you're not teaming up with a Lonely Marks person, so that's on you.
We're the Lonely
Marks. Me and Ryan McCormick, 2-man group, TMG.
Yeah. So
we're a 2-man group.
Yeah, well, hopefully none of y'all have to face the JPO faces.
We'll see what happens. All right. So before we get out of here, one more question. Kiss, marry, avoid. Jim Cornette, Eric Bischoff, or Vince Russo?
This is pretty easy.
Yeah, this is easy. I'll marry Jim Cornette. I'll kiss Eric Bischoff. I'll kill fucking Vince Russo or whatever.
No. Void/kill Vince for sure. Eric Bischoff, as much as I got my problems with him, I think he's a better husband. So I'm gonna marry him. I'm gonna kiss Cornette.
I feel like Eric Bischoff is gonna, for at least 83 weeks, try to do anything he can to make the marriage good. So I'll marry Bischoff, kiss Cornette, as long as he brings the tennis show. That's weird. And avoid.
Very nice PGing this question, by the way. I like that it's very PG and avoid.
Yeah.
Richie, last one, and then we'll shut it down.
Oh, you know, mine was the same as Pez. I was
Okay.
going to say, kill Vince Russo. We're all killing Vince Russo. It's unfortunate. Not really.
What's
Oh,
up,
come
bros?
on,
Why
bro.
y'all
What,
killing me,
Why you
bro?
gonna kill me, bro?
Why you wanna kill me,
Why you don't like
bro?
me, bro? Come on, bro.
yeah,
Come
All right.
on. No, I'm
See-
a swerve, bro. Marry me, bro. It's be a swerve.
Man,
Nobody
all you
will see it
mocks are
coming.
the same, bro.
He-
Yeah.
Whoever appreciate the comments. He is sending in another one, but
Yeah.
we'll be back next week, 10 Eastern. So watch us then. Send in your questions. We'll be
Yeah.
more than happy to answer them. But before we leave, I just have to know one question or one. Yeah, I just have one question. Does it go over the? Does it supposed to go over the? Does it go over